God, it feels good to walk righteous. No frightness, armor on my soul, I'm a knight in the brightness. Waging holy wars, but my weapon is kindness. Devil try to tempt, but he ain't got the likeness. From the pulpit to the park bench, grace flows. Bible in my hand, that's the code that I chose. Mercy on repeat, got my sins in repose. Prayers hit the heavens, watch the blessings compose. God, it feels good to be a Christian. Saved by the King, got a brand new mission. Grace on my back, yeah, I'm steady fishing. God, it feels good to be a Christian. God, it feels good to be a Christian. Saved by the King, got a brand new mission. Grace on my back, yeah, I'm steady fishing. God, it feels good to be a Christian. Hands in the air, no robbery, just worship. Heart's been clean, now my soul's got purpose. Truth in the word, no room for distortion. Gospel in my veins, it's a holy immersion. Haters throw shade, but I'm shining eternal. The spirit in my chest, that's my daily journal. Faithful like the sunrise, love stays maternal. Cross on my shoulders, breaking every inferno. They ask how you stay so free, so driven. I say through the sun, all sins forgiven. Walk with the light, no chains, no prison. God's love eternal, it's the life I'm living. Yeah, God, it feels good to be a Christian. Yeah. God, it feels good to walk righteous, no frightness. Armor on my soul, I'm a knight in the brightness. Waging holy wars, but my weapon is kindness. Devil try to tempt, but he ain't got the likeness. From the pulpit to the park bench, grace flows. Bible in my hand, that's the code that I chose. Mercy on repeat, got my sins in repose. Prayers hit the heavens, watch the blessings compose. God, it feels good to be a Christian. Saved by the King, got a brand new mission. Grace on my back, yeah, I'm steady fishing. God, it feels good to be a Christian. Yeah. Hands in the air, no robbery, just worship. Heart's been clean, now my soul's got purpose. Truth in the word, no room for distortion. Gospel in my veins, it's a holy immersion. Haters throw shade, but I'm shining eternal. Spirit in my chest, that's my... Yeah. God, it feels good to be a Christian.
God, it feels good to be a Christian. Saved by the King, got a brand new mission. Grace on my back, yeah, I'm steady fishing. God, it feels good to be a Christian. Yeah. God, it feels good to walk righteous. No frightness, armor on my soul, I'm a knight in the brightness. Waging holy wars, but my weapon is kindness. Devil try to tempt, but he ain't got the likeness. From the pulpit to the park bench, grace flows. Bible in my hand, that's the code that I chose. Mercy on repeat, got my sins in repose. Prayers at the heavens, watch the blessings compose. God, it feels good to be a Christian. God, it feels good to be a Christian. Saved by the King, got a brand new mission. Grace on my back, yeah, I'm steady fishing. God, it feels good to be a Christian. Yeah. God, it feels good to walk righteous. No frightness, armor on my soul, I'm a knight in the brightness. Waging holy wars, but my weapon is kindness. Devil try to tempt, but he ain't got the likeness. From the pulpit to the park bench, grace flows. Bible in my hand, that's the code that I chose. Mercy on repeat, got my sins in repose. Prayers at the heavens, watch the blessings compose. God, it feels good to be a Christian.
All right, everybody, and welcome to another special episode of the Wolf Den where it is kind of Ask a Christian Anything Thursday again. But every episode is a special episode. Of course, if you want to support the channel, you can always use the Cash App down there because this channel ain't never going to get monetized. Um, Tonight, I had some stuff prepared, but some things came up, and I got sidetracked on the last minute, so I'm kind of running a little bit late. And then I got to do some stuff tomorrow morning, so we may do a short episode, but I still got a little bit of stuff for you guys while we're here. And this is also, like I said, this is Ask a Christian Anything. And if we want a topic or anything tonight, I kind of want to do a little call-in show, but a lot of people don't like to call into the show because they don't like to give my show any kind of credibility or anything like that, that's okay, because even if they don't, I can still kind of monologue and still have things to talk about. So it doesn't really bother me. It's usually the same people. So hopefully we just get newer faces in here, and all the old ones will just kind of fall off the face of the planet because, like I said, they can be like little leeches. But we'll pray for them, like a good Christian would do, even though they drive us crazy at times. But yeah, like I said, it would be kind of like a call-in show. You just, in order to join the show, you just join in using that link, and if you want to give one or two arguments, maybe on whether or not you think that ICE is justified, in with what they're doing. I hear a lot of I'm still hearing a lot of the same stuff. Okay, I think the heater's on. Let me get this sweater off because I'm gonna start sweating because it's gonna get hot in here. So take off all your clothes. And I'm just talking about for me. But anyway. So yeah, is ICE like justified? If you want to join in and let me know what you think. But I'm hearing the same thing. Oh, ICE is, they're Nazis, and it's the Gestapo, and everything. All this stupid stuff, and like they don't have the jurisdiction to do what they're doing. They can't be pulling over civilians. Blah 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 blah. And it's all kind of nonsense. And of course, I don't want to see martial law, and I don't want to see an overstimulated police presence. But if certain states and certain cities create and necessitate the need for a an extreme. Oh, I'm getting a message about ICE protests around my zip code. Funny enough, but if there's cities and states that facilitate and necessitate the need for an increased police presence, then it is what it is, because some of these people, they're rabid, they're going crazy. And yeah, I would just like to see if there's any any people that want to argue the other side of ICE, or argue that ICE is out of their jurisdiction, overrunning, if they're using Nazi tactics, or overstepping their bounds, if what they're doing is wrong. I want to see if anybody wants to come and actually use their words, or maybe even in the chat. But personally, I would prefer, somebody to be able to use their voice, and use their voice to formulate an argument versus just typing in chat. Because typing in chat, it's just too easy. It's whenever you actually, honestly, to be honest with you, just talking online, just here and there, that ain't that difficult either. but I mean, it's one step above just being in a chat and just talking on a side chat. But yeah, and I'm as a Christian, I'm gonna go and I'm for law, I'm for order, I'm for peace, um, I'm for justice, and I think it would be pretty obvious that I would be on the side of ICE, whether their tactics are too harsh. Sometimes I don't think that they're harsh enough. As far as I'm concerned, if people are dressing up, as Black Bloc and surrounding and terrorizing neighborhoods, and I mean, just on the grounds of them, causing disorderly conduct, for people obstructing federal agents, for assaulting federal agents. Personally, I think that there should be a stronger reaction, because uh, I don't care if you're trans or a woman or a soy boy. Anybody who goes and sets out to do harm is capable of doing harm. You don't have to be the biggest, toughest, strongest person out there to actually cause physical damage or hurt somebody. So, a lot of people think, oh, this person, she's just a tiny little girl, or this is an old lady, or she's not hurting anyone. You never know. Any person with a weapon, whether it's like a firearm or a stick that they would usually attach to their flags, um, or a vehicle, anything like that, that could be used for a weapon. It doesn't matter how innocent, small your stature, anything like that. It doesn't matter. Anybody can pose a threat if their mind is if their mind is focused on that and that's their goal. I think we've seen that with a lot of the incidents that have happened regarding schools and churches, the all the shootings and everything like that. Generally, they're pretty. They look like fairly normal people, and usually they kind of are. But well, whenever I say are, I mean like physically they're not very intimidating, and a lot of times they're young or, in my opinion, like confused. Like a lot of, for some reason, we've had just an increase in trans violence. Um, I could probably count at least three off the top of my head, but I know there's more like five or six over the past couple years. So yeah, like I said, the a person's physicality isn't really what makes them dangerous or would cause issues, but their intent and how dedicated they are to cause damage is what can make a person dangerous. And like I said, I'm gonna be, of course, probably defending. I'm gonna be defending ICE's side because I think what they're doing is completely legal. It's normal. It's unfortunate that it's got that way, but I support ICE over Antifa. You're never gonna catch me supporting Antifa because they are just communist thugs and mentally ill people. So I can't support them. Uh, I think what ICE is doing, they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. They're doing their job. And if you don't like it, if you have a problem with it, I don't know, leave the country as far as I'm concerned. But as far as I'm concerned, ICE is doing their job. They're putting their lives in danger. Speaking of trans, it looks like showing that like there's the gay lover or trans lover of Charlie Kirk's assassin has been speaking out. So maybe we'll have a look at that. But yeah, there's a link pinned to join, and if you want to argue on behalf of what's going on here. If you want to argue on behalf and be anti-ICE, please call in and let me hear your arguments on that. I like you said, I'm gonna take a little. I'm gonna have a little. I'm getting a little hint that there's not gonna be very many people that will do it. Maybe you'll get a couple in the comments that might say something, but as far as people that actually want to come in and argue on Antifa side or argue against ICE, I don't think we're going to get that many people because, like I said, they're not very comfortable with speaking. Why is it not putting me in the middle? That's weird. Hmm. Let me see. Oh well, we'll figure it out later. I'll just do the small icon. Also, something looks strange. Maybe I should refresh the stream because something looks a little bit off. Let me go ahead and do that real quick. 1 second. I'll be right back. All right, there we go. Now I'm on. Now that looks normal. Okay. All right. So, well, we're gonna assume it looks normal. I don't know why it's showing off to the left. That it's not showing my camera on, but that's okay. Anyway, so like I said, if nobody comes in, that's fine. I got stuff. I got some talking points here that I can, expound upon. And yeah. So are they protectors or are they a problem? Essentially that's what we're going to be talking about. Just we're going to talk about just the real arguments, stick to the strict arguments, no straw men, and we'll let viewers decide. I think I honestly think that around 85% of America sides with ICE because I think 85% of America is on the side of order, like order and justice and safety. And you're not going to get that with groups like Antifa. You're going to get the complete opposite. So, pretty much, if people do want to join, there's some just basic house rules. Attack the ideas, not people. No doxing, threats, sometimes slurs, but I know that could be a little bit different. If you do some of that stuff, you probably get instantly muted or kicked off. And cite facts when possible. You can say opinions, but if you're gonna say something, this is one thing that I hear, like a lot of people say, like, "Oh, they're all Nazis," or "These people are all like that," and everything. Like they like to say all, and it's just like, what do you mean by all? It's not all. There could be a few, but I think they like to take it out of proportion whenever they start speaking like about wide swaths of people. And yeah, that's pretty much about it. But yeah, it just seems like it's a pretty polarizing time in America. Should people support ICE or oppose it? Some people see ICE as a necessary arm of law enforcement, enforcing laws passed by elected officials. Other people see ICE as an agency that causes fear, family separation, and abuses power. Same country, same laws, but very different conclusions. As Terry said the other day, it's kind of amazing how everybody has cameras now. We can see things that happen from multiple angles. You could show people the same video, and they come up with totally different conclusions, and they come up with totally different scenarios. It just kind of doesn't make too much sense, if you ask me. But it does happen. It's like most people, a lot of people see it like what happened, and the other people, I feel like, just think with their emotions and are just dead set in their ways, and just they can't. They're like sore losers, and they are so dug into their beliefs where they can't see a they can't call a spade a spade. You know what I mean? They can't call wrong wrong just because the the people on that they're against were doing the right thing. So whatever they're doing is always going to be wrong, even if they're doing the right thing. They're going to find a way to make it to where the people that they're against are doing the wrong thing whenever they're doing the right thing. So I'm just offering a channel where you could talk it out. But like I said, a lot of people, they don't like to talk on it, because I know I just tell you right now. I mean, if you're against ICE, then I have a feeling your arguments are going to be somewhat weak. So let me see. Let me see how I can do this here. I think I would actually have to go to my channel. And add a poll. Okay, start a poll. We're gonna do a poll here, and it's gonna be, what do you do? Do you support ICE? Do you support ICE? Oppose ICE, or undecided? Yeah. Okay. I guess we'll just do it this way. ICE. Support. Oppose. Undecided. And we'll put, is ICE justified in their actions? So we'll go ahead and put that poll up there. See if it shows up. So anyway, now that I got that up there, I did have this set up as a debate format, but let me see if I have anything. Because this really isn't going to work too much if you don't have anybody to debate against. It's hard to make a debate thing. So I had a couple things going on. Let's see. And like I said, I was a little bit unprepared, so it's okay. Like I said, I'll make something work here. Meanwhile, what we could be doing actually is I could be putting some footage of ICE, what's going on in the background. Let's see, where are we at here? And yeah, it's getting extremely violent. It's getting extremely violent, and we also have these things going on with Iran. And yeah, like I said, ISIS or not ICE, the Minneapolis and Minnesota. It's just like these liberal led cities are completely out of control. Let's go ahead and just I just show you guys this right here, and some of this you guys have probably already seen.
Of that car was an immigrant in the country illegally. Our Avery Everett is working to gather details about what happened in that video. She joins us now live with what we know so far. Avery.
Well, Myra, Ernie, ICE and the governor posted on social media about that incident here today, saying that it happened yesterday, rather, but they made those posts on social media for yourself. Both cars driving. You can then see the driver rams both cars.
So again, here's something pretty. It's there's not really much arguing to be done here. You just see it with your eyes.
Walmart parking lot off of Blanco and Wurzbach Parkway. So I want you to take a look for yourselves of this video. Like I said, that was shared by Fox News in a broadcast last night. It shows a car getting boxed in by vehicles that ICE says its officers were driving. You can then see the driver rams both cars in an effort to get away, injuring one of the officers. In social media posts, ICE and Governor Abbott say the driver was an immigrant. Now, the governor's team told me they had no additional information at this time, and that's what SAPD told us as well. Now, we have reached out to ICE and DPS.
Immediate arrest and deportation. Immediate arrest and deportation. Like, sorry, that's it. You just assaulted two police officers, two federal agents, destruction of property, attempt to evade, aggravated assault. You just added felonies, and on top of that, you're not even a citizen of the United States. Instant deportation.
I want to read you part of a DPS statement that we literally just got 5 minutes ago. The Texas Department of Public Safety can confirm that our troopers assisted with the inventory and towing of the suspect vehicle after the incident. But then they referred us back to DHS. So last night in our Q&A with Mayor Jones, we asked her about ICE's presence in San Antonio and if her office was ever told more officers may be coming to our city. Here's what she had to say.
We're not always notified of these operations, right? Frankly, sometimes there's more reported on Reddit than there may be reported to SAP.
Yeah, because whenever they do report it, the liberal people, the liberal mayors and the liberal governors start passing out flyers and start making media posts. Oh, the ICE is coming here, shelter in place or prepare to fight.
APD, right? Kind of based on what's required. So I think those are the kinds of things we want to lay flat for the community. We all are trying to balance public trust and public safety, right? Yeah. And so we're asking questions, and of course we're working with our federal delegation. Representative Castro, in particular, has worked hard to get answers, and we'll continue to do that.
So we do know that the mayor and city council are having a special meeting next Thursday to talk about ICE's presence in our city and talk about some of the concerns that our community might have with that presence here. As far as
the community. See, we also have some pretty interesting stuff here. Got the largest ICE
Secretary of Homeland Security
operation in Minnesota with 2,000 agents
cities as they arrest a man they identify as Tomas Espintapia, an illegal immigrant convicted of robbery and one.
Oh, look at that! ICE is targeting a criminal convicted for robbery and wanted for murder.
For murder and sexual assault.
Oh, and sexual assault too. But I guarantee you, you're going to have people, on the left saying, get out, ICE, get out. You're making our neighborhood unsafe, da, da, da. Meanwhile, they're protecting a violent, murderous sex offender. Congratulations, guys.
In his home country of Ecuador. Noam speaking to the man through a translator.
Do you know why we're here today? You will be held accountable for your crimes.
2000
And he says he knows why they're there.
agents are on the ground in Minnesota for what they say is the biggest immigration enforcement operation ever. We did see dozens and dozens of agents come and go from the Whipple Federal Building for much of the day. Today, Governor Walz strongly criticizing the federal government's effort.
We are under assault.
This dude is such an idiot, and really, I hope to see him have justice paid back to him, because he has caused so much damage. He probably got that one member of Congress killed and had her assassinated because the person who assassinated that person worked under him and his wife, I believe. So they're probably being highly investigated and probed. But, not only is this guy incompetent, but he's also extremely corrupt. And that goes the same for Ilhan Omar. I can't even stand listening to that woman speak.
Like no other time in our state's history, because of a petty, vile administration that doesn't care about the well-being of Minnesotans.
You don't care about the well-being of Minnesotans. You are harboring illegal people that should not be here with violent criminal records. You are the one that is scamming people out of billions of dollars, your own state out of billions of dollars. You deserve to be probably sent to CCOT yourself.
Walz also says the operation is not helping the people here.
They'll be wearing masks, being here in Minnesota, harassing them. If you want us to fix fraud, come and help us. Come and help us do that. They're not interested in that.
But DH
The absolute gaslighting and hypocrisy for this guy to even mention fraud is almost infuriating.
just says they're protecting Minnesotans with the operation, adding that cities with sanctuary protections like Minneapolis attract illegal immigrants who hide in plain sight.
Going door to door to a lot of these suspected, companies that are not only hiring illegal aliens that shouldn't even be in the country, but also, being involved in potential human smuggling, human trafficking cases, but also looking at these fraud cases as well.
Although it has not been said how long Operation Metro Surge will continue, Homeland Security posted on social media.
Hopefully it continues as long as it needs to continue until the city's cleaned out.
Media this afternoon, quote, "We're not leaving until the problem is solved."
There you go.
Now, there were some people in and around kind of keeping an eye out for ICE agents, using whistles and shouting, trying to warn others that ICE was in the area. There are also a lot of videos posted online of ICE making some arrests. Secretary of Home.
It's amazing. It's amazing that how much damage these people are doing to their own people. These people are just kind of insane. Not a big fan of Asmongold. I agree with a lot of his stuff, but I'm just not a big fan. And these people are getting more and more violent. And yeah, a lot of it has to do with the media. I don't know how many people I've seen calling ICE, Nazis, and calling the president Nazis, calling people on the right Nazis. If you're a part of the MAGA movement or anything like that, you're a Nazi. If you're white, you're a Nazi. If you support Trump, you're a Nazi. It's like if you keep saying it and saying it and saying it, the more and more these mentally unstable people are going to act on something and do something stupid and get themselves erased. This was somewhere recent where they're outnumbering, ICE agents, and they're breaking into their cars and they're stealing rifles, they're stealing federal equipment. That's what I'm saying. I don't understand why the I don't understand why the for well, like I said, I have my own theories that both sides, Republican and Democrats, are kind of playing with this. So like they kind of have to treat them with kitty gloves. But I'm not sure how long that's going to last. People are going to get hurt. People already have gotten hurt, and more people will continue.
Oh my God! That, ladies and gentlemen, is a stone.
And can we just talk about this genius right here? I mean, let me bring this up a little bit more. With all the Antifa, all the black bloc people, with all these bad actors, if you're going to go and break into a federal officer's vehicle, you would think if you have very identifiable face tattoos, then maybe you would want to be wearing a mask. But this genius didn't wear a mask. No mask for this guy.
Won't no ICE agent ever run up on me. I guarantee you they won't. I'll put a hole in their chest the size of a window.
These guys are peaches, aren't they?
Won't no ICE agent ever run up on me. I guarantee you they won't. I'll put a hole in their chest the size of a window. If you are going to legally arm yourself with something bigger than what they got.
Also to protest,
Actually, I know what kind of firearm that dude has because, well, let's just say I've seen it around.
No one can be illegal on stolen land.
Welcome back to the LFR family. I am your YouTube.
We need less signs at these protests and more people with.
I'm telling you. The globalists, they want us to be in a civil war, and these people calling for violence to start attacking federal agents. I mean, you guys got to be careful with what you wish for, because you guys are going to be so heavily outgunned, and it's going to be a massacre. And I don't want to see that happen. But if it does happen, then hey, like you reap what you sow,
Remember, people, if a masked man tries to kidnap you, put a bullet in his fucking face.
This is not a time for you to stick your fucking head in the ground and do nothing.
We have to show up with guns.
So let me go in my car and let me screech in my car and pretend like I'm doing something kind of similar to somebody that I know that just talks. That's about it. Doesn't really do anything. Just talks about how wrong it is, but doesn't do anything about it.
We have to. There's no other way around it. I don't care if I don't have a Minnesota carry permit. I'm unarmed right now, but this is the last time I show up to face these guys without a weapon.
Democrat lawmakers in Minnesota are now encouraging anti-ICE rioters to now pick up weapons and attack ICE agents and law enforcement.
Show up to face these guys without a weapon.
Democratic lawmakers. Do you hear that? Democratic lawmakers.
Lawmakers in Minnesota are now encouraging anti-ICE rioters to now pick up weapons and attack ICE agents and law enforcement.
Do you guys not see what they're trying to do?
That's an ICE vehicle right there. They found a chest in the back of it and they're breaking into it.
Wow.
Watch what they did.
Oh my God.
That, ladies and gentlemen, is a stolen rifle. It's a rifle. Oh, they're not done. They're really.
And I'm tired of the people calling like these things protests. These are riots and these are looters. These are not protests. These are not protesters. These are criminal, terrorist bad acting rioters and looters. This is not protesting.
Here's some bullets.
Track their phones. Everybody whose phone was there that night, arrest their ass.
I don't think anything's going to change until there's massive arrests being made. But is that going to happen? Time will tell. Time will tell. Like I said, there's this game. There's this game that's being played, and it's a very strategic one. It's like they want to push it to a certain limit to where not everyone gets injured, but I guarantee you they're willing to expend just a couple useful idiots. They're willing to dispose of. But if they locked a good amount, first off, these people wouldn't last a moment at like prison. They wouldn't. If you look at how these protesters and how they look and their build and how they are, they wouldn't last a moment in prison. They would get eaten up alive. But until massive arrests are going to be made to where it's going to cost way too much to bail these people out, even though there's some deep pockets out there to bail some of these people out. I mean, I don't want to hear about January 6th one more time. They do this every single time. The left is always doing this, always causing, mostly peaceful protests while their city is literally on fire.
This is crazy. This is nuts.
You know what's stupid? It's like not only that, but they're recording their crime. All these people with their phones, they don't think that they can triangulate and find who was in this area by triangulating their position with the GPS that's on their phone. You essentially have a 24-hour GPS tracking device whenever you have your phone, and then you keep it with you while you're doing these things. Smart moves.
They're taking their badges, they're taking their stickers, everything. Everything. They have nothing to do.
Tourniquet there. Did he get?
This looks like Armageddon, man. Looks like.
Son, if I was an ICE agent, I would just get the multi-grenade launcher, load that thing up with like tear gas, flashbang, tear gas, flashbang, tear gas, flashbang, and just start lobbing it into these people while they're disorientated. Send in the other officers to come and just start rounding them up, charging everybody with seditious activity, anarchy, destruction of federal property, disturbing the peace. I throw every single law that they're breaking at them to where their bail is going to be so high, and there's going to be so many people with so many charges that it's almost going to be impossible to it might put a small dent into some of these people's whoever's bailing them out. It might put a small dent into their thing to where they won't be able to afford to do it. But yeah, impact flashbangs, impact smoke grenades, impact tear gas grenades, and then just send in the troops, round them all up, and straight to jail. Straight to jail.
Like Armageddon. Return to.
And anybody there would be considered an accomplice.
Living dead. Looks like a freaking Netflix movie. Looks like Black Mirror. SMB 596.
Boy, I'm telling you, if this guy alone if we don't see that this guy alone gets arrested, if they have his license plate tag and don't track this guy down, what up, Pinocchio? But I mean, like I said, out of everybody, they're wearing face coverings. The one guy that probably steals a fully automatic. I'm not sure if police get fully automatic rifles. I'm pretty sure that they may get fully automatic rifles. By the way, I'm not sure if Stump is actually here. He may be chilling. It's just me. I'm just running it on his channel as well. But somebody who's going to go to destroy federal property, steal a fully automatic weapon, or steal a weapon in general with visible face tattoos. I mean, at least you would think that the person would at least use a mask, and they also got his license plate.
SMV 596. Go ahead and take a screenshot. That's nuts, man. These people are nuts.
Yeah, Pinocchio. Nobody wants to come on and defend the actions of the rioters. I don't know where everyone's at tonight. Maybe they're taking a break or whatever. I don't know. But to be honest with you, I don't think the reason why they don't want to come here and defend the rioters is because there is no defense for these rioters. Yeah, me neither. Like I said, I was like, I got distracted with some stuff, so I'm kind of unprepared. Like, usually I would have some stuff, and I think I do. It's just so out of order where it's just like I kind of lost track, and then I got to do some things tomorrow, so like my mind's kind of scrambled everywhere. But yeah, no, surprise, surprise. Nobody even wants to say that ICE is doing something bad, because I think at the end of the day, ICE is just doing what they're ordered to do. ICE is doing their job, and they're gonna, at the very least, their argument will be like, "Oh, well, that's just what the Nazis said. We're just following orders." The fact that they try and even compare the ICE to Nazi foot soldiers in brown coats, it's ridiculous. And they have the nerve to say that, oh, it's Trump's fault that all of this stuff is happening, and it's ICE's fault that all this stuff is happening.
Oh, yeah, they hear the police. Oh, time to run now. Time to run.
Won't no ICE agent ever run up on me. I guarantee you they won't. I'll put a hole in their chest the size of a window. Safe line repair, safe line.
Is this guy just about to do the safe light repair, safe light replace jingle? That's actually kind of funny.
Run up on me. I guarantee you they won't. I'll put a hole in their chest the size of a window. Safe line repair, safe line replace. That's what's gonna happen. They touch me. Unarmed.
Can I let me play it back, because I think he said safe line and he didn't say safe light. By the way, not sponsored.
Time to run.
Won't no ICE agent ever run up on me. I guarantee you they won't. I'll put a hole in their chest the size of a window. Safe line repair, safe line replace. That's what's
this brother right here, he said safe. Maybe he didn't want to get sued. Or something like that. That's giving him way too much credit. He just didn't know what the company name was. It's Safe Light, but like I said, I'm not a sponsor either. So Safe Line, Safe Light, kind of, it's close enough.
what happened. They touched me. Unarmed woman was killed by ICE. If you think you're about to come
Lie.
and brutalize the people while we're standing here,
To come and brutalize the people. Okay, maybe he has a bad speech impediment. Safe line repair, safe line replace, and what else did he just say?
unarmed woman was killed by ICE. If you think you're about to come and brutalize the people,
If you're gonna come brutalize, you know what? I'm gonna write that down. That's probably gonna be my gamer tag for the future. That's kind of like genius, if you ask me. I'm not gonna say what it's gonna be called, but brutalize.
While we're standing here, fuck around and find out. Our interactions with the police and ICE, and we hold them accountable. We hold them accountable. We patrol the community and we hold them accountable. The Black Panther Party for Self-Defense, we're the same Panther Party from back in the day, but we're a little more aggressive now, you dig? Carry bigger guns and we don't take no shit.
The Panther Party hasn't been relevant for years.
Places where there are a lot of immigrants at, I think that the community around them needs to take special care to them and needs to start escorting them to and from everywhere to make sure that they're safe. Because them ICE agents ain't gonna act like that if it's a bunch of people standing outside with assault rifles and shotguns.
In my videos, I've been talking about motto. Arrest them. They want opportunity.
And they've been attacking and terrorizing our state. So being a
you start abusing them and taking advantage of them.
Neighbors and others who came out to help this person, that is just an example of Minnesota being a place where we help our neighbors. And we are clear that the ICE agents have been coming here, and there's over 2,000 of them
doing their jobs. And y'all are...
Yeah, you guys... Exactly. They're doing their jobs. You guys should be appreciative of it. Instead, they're causing chaos and using these useful idiots.
Hiding people from them. Making it worse.
And they've been attacking and terrorizing our state. So yes, neighbors will come out and be helpful. I'm not certain if they had brooms or...
Oh, listen to this. Well, you're so right.
Shovel. That is to be further investigated.
If they did, in fact, have some sort of weapons to use to attack the ICE officer, would that change your opinion of...
If he says no, I'm not going to be surprised, but I have a feeling he's going to say no. Let's see.
Whatever unfolded next.
Actually, no, right? Because from...
Unfreaking believable. Amazing. Hold on. I just got to do it.
Amazing.
I thought I was gonna be almost like half right. I can't believe that I was that right. Like I honestly, I thought there was gonna be at least like him, at least to think about. I thought he was gonna at least think about it and be like, well, the situation might have been a little bit different, but he comes out and just says, really, no. That's amazing.
Our vantage point, we wanted to make sure, and always wanted to make sure, that Minnesotans are being dealt with properly. And when we think in terms of any pursuit or any apprehension of anyone, there's a way for you to do your work where it's respectful and it's fair. We unfortunately have seen ICE not be respectful, not be fair, but to be illegal.
Bro, these people are lucky that they're not getting direct hits. At least some of them. Some of them are getting direct hits, but on a level that is nowhere near that where they should be. All right, like these guys should be getting direct hit with those pepper balls. I'm so sick and tired of watching these dudes pepper ball the floor around them. Like they need to start doing direct hits and bring out the 40 mics and just start popping them. Maybe that bring out the water cannons. Bring out the water cannons in the middle of winter.
And to attack and to be very aggressive with Minnesotans, and to see that the federal government has made a decision to attack and send more and more agents here and allow them to be allow them to misbehave. We think that's a tragedy. and a travesty.
Whenever you're hiding,
Yeah, you know what's and you know what, I can already tell the guy that we're watching this video of, which this is LFR family. Sorry, I'm using your content, but it is what it is. I can tell you probably what this guy says. Whenever you're hiding human smugglers, illegals, literal rapists and murderers, people that do perform sexual assault and violent crimes, you guys are the one that are causing dangers to your to your neighborhood. The amount of gaslighting is absolutely ridiculous, and it works. It works.
Criminals from the law. This is what is going to happen. This is what should happen. There should be people like appreciative that our country is doing what they say they're going to do, which is protect our liberties, protect our rights. But unfortunately for us, that's not where we are anymore. People are just spoiled, man, and it gets on my damn nerves. And now even Nick Shirley is being attacked, and all he's doing is some YouTube investigative journalism. That's it. He's doing YouTube investigative journalism, and they're attacking him. The information that comes out showing all of the fraud, they're going against that. Are y'all against this country or what? The answer is yes. We have been helping people grow online. The
answer is yes.
Been absolutely amazing. We have helped many content creators.
You know what I'm gonna do? You know what? Since I am that racist, so racist right now, you know, I'm gonna join. I'm gonna go ahead, give this guy a thumbs up. Actually, you know what? This takes a good channel to have me actually subscribe to them and maybe want to follow up with them. So you know what? I'm gonna even drop him a subscribe. The racist is gonna drop you know, the brother a subscription. Because real just recognizes real. Common sense recognizes common sense. So we have that. And you know what? Since like I said, I totally expected no one to even really show up to defend the other side because it's indefensible. And these people are cowards. They're just cowards. What is it? What is that idiot's name? What is the idiot's name? I hope that Insurrection Act gets passed here. Let me find that idiot mayor. And even the woman who got killed, that Renee Good, her husband says that he doesn't blame ICE. Let me see. I'm trying to find. I always get mayor and governor confused. Let's see. Mayor of Minnesota. Mayor? Yeah, this guy. This guy is a total idiot.
Morning. In Minneapolis, when a tragedy strikes, there's one word that summarizes what is most important, and that word is integrity. This is not the time to bend the rules. This is a time to follow the law. This is not a time to hide.
Let's count the hypocrisy. Time to follow the law, not what you're doing.
From the facts, this is a time to embrace them.
2 points against you already. You're not embracing the facts. You're a liar.
Making sure that we're pushing for transparency every step of the way.
Lying again. You're not pushing for transparency. You're pushing agendas.
The fact that Pam Bondi's Department of Justice and this presidential administration has already come to a conclusion about those facts is deeply concerning.
The fact that you're misconstruing the facts and pushing propaganda is concerning.
Facts that from the very beginning, they're calling the victim a domestic terrorist.
Yes. She was. She performed an act of domestic terrorism.
They're calling the actions of the agent involved as some form of defensive posture.
Was it not self-defense if you're going to get run over and you defend yourself? Absolute liar. Like, how do these people get in office and how do they stay in office? How are these people not getting arrested?
We know that they've already determined much of the investigation, and even if they haven't, there is the appearance that there is some conclusion drawn from the very beginning. If not hide from the facts, why not embrace them? If it's not a problem to have additional people at the table that have a deep commitment to the process and transparency and have run these investigations before, then why not include them in the process? The Bureau of Criminal Apprehension at the state of Minnesota has consistently run these investigations before. They have done so without bias.
Another lie.
They've done so with a great deal of expertise. This is
another lie.
Not some radical way out there group. This is a group that is formed by experts who understand how to investigate. Many of them have been police officers themselves.
Corrupt.
So our ask is really simple here. Our ask is to embrace the truth. Our ask
You embrace lies and propaganda.
Is to include the Bureau of Criminal Apprehension in this process because we in Minneapolis want a fair investigation. Is it deeply concerning that this administration from the very get-go is drawing the conclusion that they may ultimately come to? Of course it is. And if you got nothing to hide from, then don't.
Because it is what it is. The woman tried to run over an ICE officer and she got dealt with. People attacked another ICE officer with supposedly a shovel and broomsticks, which can be a deadly weapon. Blunt force can cause death.
Don't hide from it. Include local experts in the process. We got nothing to hide from here. All we want in Minneapolis is justice and the truth. And speaking of the truth, let me give you another one. I have heard countless people talk about Minneapolis, many of them who have never been here, as some form of post-apocalyptic hellscape.
It's what it looks like.
As a place that is dangerous.
It's what it looks like.
Well, let me give you a statistic. 50% of the shootings that have happened thus far in Minneapolis this year have been ICE.
And why? Why? What was the reason why ICE had to use their firearms? Maybe because people were committing violent acts. Maybe because people were committing crimes. Maybe because ICE had to defend themselves.
In other words, we've only had 2 shootings. One of them has been ICE. We are a safe city. ICE is making it less so. We are a city of unity, but ICE is trying to divide us and tear us apart. For every one of the people that you see standing here behind me, they have more than 1,000 people behind them. They have people that are committed to their neighbors, committed to integrity, committed to justice, and committed to getting the truth. We will not back down from it. Among those that won't back down from it is the person who I'm about to introduce. His ward is right on the borderline of where this particular shooting happened, and that is Councilmember Jason Chavez. Would you please give him a warm round of applause?
Let's see what this goofball has to say.
Good morning. My name is Jason Chavez, and I have the privilege of representing Ward 9 on the Minneapolis City Council, where ICE murdered Renee Good.
Oh, what was that about drawing conclusions? Wait, has there been a due process? Has there been a trial? No. Do you see the hypocrisy of these people?
I want to let you all know that our entire community is mourning because of the inhumane tactics of ICE separating our families.
Okay, let's talk about ICE separating the families, okay? All right. Anytime a person breaks the law, they will they will separate you from your family. You can't exactly bring your kids into prison, or you can't bring your kids into jail with you. You will always you're always going to be separated from your family. And they'll try and find somebody who your kids can go with. You know, this whole narrative of ICE separating people from their families. Yeah, yeah. Surprise, surprise. The obese man wants to talk about yada yada yada. But yeah, anytime that you commit a crime and that you have to go to jail or get deported or anything like that, you're gonna get separated from your family. You can't really take your family with you to prison. Anytime you commit a crime, dumbass.
Forcing people back into the shadows and the pure brutality by immigration's customs enforcement. The videos that we have all seen, yourself included, does not match the false narrative from the federal government. In fact, you could hear the words, "I am pulling out," moments before ICE decided to take the life of Renee Good. She was a mother, a wife, and a beloved community member.
What this dude say? I'm pulling out. I'm sorry. Based on the fact that they're lesbians, I don't think that they can even pull out. They can't pull out anyway since they're lesbians. It doesn't happen whenever you're scissoring. What I heard was drive, baby, drive.
Match the false narrative from the federal government. In fact, you could hear the words, "I am pulling out," moments before ICE decided to take the life of Renee Good. She was a mother, a wife, and a beloved community member, not a domestic terrorist. I'm calling on Trump's FBI to allow the Minnesota BCA to have access to all the information so an independent investigation can occur. It is important and critical to our community to have a sense of trust in this process by having an independent investigation to present to the county attorney so that adequate charges can be made. But most importantly, I am here on behalf of my entire community.
Yeah, the community is such a like it's a whistle. It's a dog whistle. Hello, Stream Hub. Hello. I think I've seen you around here lately. Hello, how you doing? Not sure who you are or if you're a bot, but welcome back again. And hello, bot, if you're a bot. But yeah, man. Yeah, she was gonna end or endanger the ICE officer, and the ICE officer did what he had to do. Am I happy about it? No. As a Christian, I don't want to see somebody's life being ended. But also, as a Christian and a logical thinker, I also recognize that actions have consequences. So her actions led to the consequences, and it's tragic. But hey, it is what it is.
Echoing the calls to arrest, to prosecute and fire this ICE agent who murdered Renee Good, and to hold.
Again, yeah. What was that about drawing conclusions? What was that about drawing conclusions? Waiting for a trial? These people are such hypocrites.
All those accountable complicit in this crime. What has descended upon Minneapolis and in this state is not the American dream. It is not what the American dream is about. Our immigrant neighbors are here to work. They're here to provide for their family and to achieve prosperity. Instead, what we are seeing in Minneapolis and across the state is.
Oh my god, I could hear the bitch in your voice. Oh my goodness, I could hear him. Oh, the fake tears, the theatrics.
ICE kidnapping our family.
Who are they kidnapping? People that shouldn't be here? Violent offenders? Criminals?
Following folks driving to work and kidnapping them. following people as they're heading to school or to the daycare, picking up our immigrant neighbors from bus stops.
Notice how he doesn't say illegals. ICE isn't taking immigrants; they're taking illegal immigrants.
While neighbors are struggling to afford groceries, they're picking them there as well. I've personally been on the streets since this first happened, and I've seen too many ICE agents kidnap our neighbors from their cars. And to that, we're always going to condemn it. And as we continue to ask for justice for Renee Good, we're going to ask our community members to stay on alert. As a proud son of Mexican immigrants, I ask Minneapolis and Minnesota to rise up, to do everything in their power to defend our immigrant neighbors, to continue to observe the illegal actions by ICE, to blow your whistle when you see immigration enforcement in.
And also, just a totally gig tactic. Like, bring your whistles. Won't you blow my whistle, baby?
Your neighborhood.
I can't whistle right now. Oh well. Flow Rider, you get it.
To get trained on rapid response so you can educate your neighbors on what is happening on your block. To provide.
Hey, Pinocchio, if you're still there, like, what you should do is make a AI cover of like whenever you have ICE going and arresting people, and you have the whole audience, or not the whole audience, all the group of the antagonizers and everything like that. You should make an AI similar song of the Flow Rider, "Blow My Whistle" from Flow Rider. You should make a song like that and just play it over it. I think that would be actually pretty funny. You just make a clip with that and then just generate a song with Flow Rider's whistle. Thank me later. It would go great.
Rides to your immigrant neighbors who need to go to work, who need to get groceries, who need to see their children come back home safely. To help your immigrant neighbors move their cars during snow emergencies, because what we are seeing is many of our immigrant neighbors being picked up simply by moving their cars.
Moving their cars and bashing into other cars and trying to run over ICE agents.
To help your neighbors take out the trash, because there are many reports of neighbors being kidnapped while they are taking their trash out. To support our immigrant-owned businesses.
And the black-owned businesses and oh my, immigrant-owned business. Dude, the fatigue is so real. The fatigue is so real. But anyway, I think I'm about done. Like I said, I got some other stuff to do. Surprise, surprise. There wasn't a single person out here that wanted to come and defend the actions of the protesters, or what they really are, the rioters. Surprise, surprise. Not a single person wanted to come and defend the indefensible. Because quite frankly, they're cowards. They're just cowards. Let's see if I can find this video. Let me see if I have it in my likes. Oh, I thought this was pretty funny. You have a good night too, bro. Oh, I thought this was pretty funny. You have a good night too, bro. Wait a minute, that's not. This is pretty much the whole situation in a nutshell. Oops. This is the status quo of these people. Just kind of open up your ears and listen to what this lady says. She is an autistic disabled person. Yeah, that's kind of that's who we're dealing with here. Autistic disabled people. It's pretty pathetic. Pretty pathetic, man. But I will just say this. Look, ICE exists because immigration laws exist. Supporting ICE isn't about hating immigrants. It's about enforcing the laws that are on the books that should be constantly enforced. I know, it's pretty amazing, ain't it? Every other nation controls its border. Without enforcement, law becomes a suggestion. The law becomes, maybe I should, maybe I shouldn't, Is it really breaking the law? ICE targets criminals, they target traffickers, and often repeat offenders. When enforcement disappears, the vacuum doesn't fill with compassion. It fills with chaos. It fills with black markets and exploitation. Reform can happen, but abolishing enforcement leaves working class communities, legal residents, people that are here legally, people who've been in the neighborhoods for all their years, legal immigrants, and other members of the actual community unprotected. That's the honest truth here. To be honest with you, a country without borders isn't compassionate. It's fragile. Reform enforcement doesn't erase it. Laws do matter, and so does order. So, unfortunately, hey, there was no call-ins, but like I said, I totally expected that. And you know what? Just to tie it in biblically, because I always like to tie some of this stuff in biblically. Let's go to Romans 13 really quick. And as a Christian, hey, this is all biblical. Submission to governing authorities. Let everyone be subject to the governing authorities, for there is no authority except that which God has established. The authorities that exist have been established by God. Consequently, whoever rebels against the authority is rebelling against what God has instituted. And for those who do so will bring judgment upon themselves. In other words, consequences have actions, or actions have consequences. For rulers hold no terror for those who do right, but for those who do wrong. Do you want to be free from fear of the one in authority? Then do what is right, and you will be commended. For the one in authority is God's servant for your good. But if you do wrong, be afraid, for rulers do not bear the sword for no reason. They are God's servants, agents of wrath, to bring punishment on the wrongdoer. Therefore, it is necessary to submit to the authorities, not only because of possible punishment, but also as a matter of conscience. This is also why you pay taxes, for the authorities are God's servants who give their full time to governing. Give to everyone what you owe them. If you owe taxes, then pay taxes. If revenue, then revenue. If respect, then respect. And if honor, then honor. What's a way that we could solve this? To be honest, it's love. Let no debt remain outstanding except the continuing debt to love one another. For whoever loves others has fulfilled the law, the commandments. You shall not commit adultery, you shall not murder, you shall not steal, you shall not covet, and whatever other command there may be are summed up in this one command. Let me say that let me tell you guys, let me read that one more time. The commandments. You shall not commit adultery, you shall not murder, you shall not steal, you shall not covet, and whatever other command there may be are summed up in this one command. Love your neighbor as yourself. Love does no harm to a neighbor. Therefore, love is the fulfillment of the law. Good to see you. You would have been reading Paul's garbage nursery school teachings in Nazi Germany. Nope, I'm here in America reading it. Are you calling me a Nazi? Here, Sam. You think I'm a Nazi because I support law and order? I think you may. I think you've been brainwashed, brother. And do this, understanding the present time. The hour has already come for you to wake up from your slumber, because our salvation is nearer now than when we first believed. The night is nearly over, the day is almost here. So let us put aside the deeds of darkness and put on the armor of light. Let us behave decently, as in the daytime, not carousing in drunkenness, not in sexual immorality, not in debauchery, not in dissension and in jealousy. Rather, clothe yourself with the Lord Jesus Christ. Do not think about how to gratify the desires of the flesh. And I'll just leave you guys with that. Sam, I would be willing to keep it open for a few more minutes if you wanted to defend or put up an argument that ICE is doing the wrong thing, but I don't think you will. I think you know that you're gonna come off foolish. I would be willing to keep it open for a few more minutes, but like I said, I don't believe that you're gonna do it. Maybe you will, maybe you won't, but I'm not gonna wait that long either. I got some stuff to do here in a minute anyway. And also I'm just gonna relax, It's unfortunate. I want to have these intellectual debates with people, but it's hard to, have an intellectual debate with people whenever there's a lack of intellectual people. It is what it is. But yeah, woulda, shoulda, coulda, but we're not. We're here in America. How to join, you click on the link that's pinned, and I can also post it right. I can post it right here. And if you're new and don't have a camera, I may put you on, but you may not be on screen. But I'll go ahead and post the link real quick. If anybody wants to say that ICE is not justified in what they're doing, you're welcome to join in. There's a link just in case the link somehow disappeared, the pinned one. But we're not going to be here for too long. It's already been almost an hour and a half. So I'm not going to sit here and wait for another half hour. Well, it's about Christianity, but Christianity leans toward law and order. So on a side note, part 3 is what ICE doing justified, and in the Christian in Christianity, through Christianity, what ICE is doing would be justified. Christianity is about law and order, promotes law and order. So in that way, they kind of tie together. So it was kind of really a sub. Why do I have a feeling that might be a friend of mine? Uh, are you a United States citizen, or are you where are you from? From the U.S. or are you from the U.K.? Are you from the Middle East? Iran, Syria, Iraq. Okay. You got any oh well, okay, Chicago. Chicago. Well, you got any questions that you want to ask about Christianity plainly and kind of want to make it quick? It doesn't have to be about ICE, but if you want to speak if you want to talk about anything Christian related, you can do that. Or if you want to speak about ICE, you can do that. Or if you want to, are you a practicing Muslim? It says you're a Muslim, but you're a practicing Muslim. Mm. It might get messy. I'll tell you that much. But the link is there if you want to join. Yes, God willing. I don't know. Your God and my God are not the same gods. Let me see. Why do I have a feeling? Why do I have a feeling? Let me see something here. I wonder, can I do this? Turn your camera on. Let me see. Can you turn your camera on real quick? Okay, it's not who I thought it was.
No. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. What's going on, man?
Okay, so I think I thought it was a different topic when I jumped on. I was thinking it's more like a Christianity Islam thing. You know what I mean? But first with ICE, I don't have that much knowledge. You know what I mean? But if it comes to the ICE topic, I heard that they're going into schools and they're arresting children, separating them from their families. You know what I mean? Going and arresting mothers and then separating them from their families. And that they're not just doing it to people who are doing drugs or criminals. So that's kind of on the ICE topic.
Okay. Well, that's media lies.
Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can still hear you.
Oh, I can't hear you. What the hell?
Hello, mic check. 1 2 1 2.
I don't hear anything.
I'm gonna type in
That's
private
tough.
chat. Let me see. Hold on. Let me see.
Hello?
Hello.
Nothing.
Nothing. Nothing. You can't hear me. Mic check. 1 2 1 2. Hello. Mic check. 1 2.
Make sure your audio is on the right input. Can you hear me right now? It is. I mean, it's on my car, and I switched it to my. Yo.
Yeah. Can you hear me? You sound a little bit different now.
Settings, audio, CarPlay. Settings. Make sure you got Bluetooth. I'm gonna just turn Bluetooth off.
Okay.
Hello?
Hello. Can you hear me now? No? No? Can't hear me still?
Hello?
Hello?
I think you can hear me, but I can't hear you. Yeah? Yeah, you can hear me, but I can't hear anything. That's tough, man. What the hell? Is your settings, could it be something with your settings? Because here. I turned my camera on. I don't know if that makes a difference.
I could see you. Turn Bluetooth off.
All right, man. Whatever it is, I tried. You know what I mean? So take it easy. You know, maybe it's something with my phone, but hope you have a good rest of your stream, man.
Man, I wanted to talk to this guy. I wanted to speak with him. So yeah, if you do see this, I would say turn Bluetooth off on your phone, and we could talk about it. But what I will say is what you've been seeing about like families being removed or separated. The fact is, anytime that somebody commits a crime or gets arrested, they're going to be removed from their family. That's standard operating procedure. As I said before, if you commit a crime and you get arrested, you can't take your family with you to jail, you know? So that happens. Another thing is with these sanctuary cities that are, I would dare say all of them are all liberal cities. What they want to do, what Trump wanted to do, and what the plan was to allow ICE to go into. Let's see if you can hear me now.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. You can hear me?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, yeah, I figured it was your Bluetooth on your phone, probably.
I still have no idea because I turned the Bluetooth off. It still didn't work. But what do you call it? On ICE, I'll be honest. Yeah, I don't have that much knowledge, but this is kind of saying more what I heard. I mean, what's your stance on the whole Israel-Palestine?
Israel-Palestine?
Yeah.
I'm really not a big supporter of either. I'm not a huge supporter of Israel, and I don't think we should be getting involved in funding them as much as we are. However, I don't think Palestine is innocent. Is totally innocent either. So I kind of am indifferent whenever it comes to that situation. To be honest, I definitely don't support. I don't support Hamas, and I don't support these terrorist organizations.
Yeah, I mean, I believe there's a lot more history behind it. You know what I mean? Like
biblical history.
Yeah, so like for Hamas, for example, it's not to sit here and say I support them. It's that Israel created Hamas. You know what I mean? Like Israel, that's what a lot of people don't know, but Israel actually funded Hamas. there's actually a thing in 2018. You could look up about it, do all the research you want. It was in a door meeting, was with the Likud party, which is an Israeli Congress party, where Netanyahu said he would be happy if Israel or if Hamas actually won the election. And then he also said that we have to, and this is basically part of our plan, because so long as they're in power, there will be no caller for peace. There will be nobody to bridge them with the Palestinian Authority. You know, so if you look at, there's records of them literally getting Qatar to send in money to Palestine through untraceable ways, as in like in briefcases, and they dropped off all this money, and they admit to it themselves. You know what I mean? So you could see Netanyahu admitting these things. You know what I mean? So they're clearly funding them for a reason, that this is what they want to see. You know, and they do little things to provoke. And then also, even on October 7th, they committed the Hannibal Directive. This is one of their officials from their government. It's a video on YouTube. Do you know what the Hannibal Directive is?
I've heard of it.
Okay.
Do I know all the specific details on it? No. If you want to go and say something, I probably won't have much to say on it, because I'm not super informed on it. But you could say what you think, but I'm probably not going to give you too much of a detailed response. But you go ahead, just and I can look it up while you're talking about it. I've heard about it though. And I'm not saying that Israel, you know, there's Mossad agents that say, you know, that we control the world stage, that we cause the, you know, the world is a stage and we set all these things up and happen. So I'm not saying that Israel's completely innocent. And the whole history of Islam and how it got started is very interesting as well. And there's you know, to be honest, as an American, as a Christian, you know, I would pray that, you know, Islam would convert to Christianity, but you know, you guys do have the death penalty if you do apostate from Islam. You're going to be at the very least, you know, ostracized from your family.
So if you not to cut you off, but so we'll bring it to Islam then. So if you leave the religion in Islam, this by itself is not enough standard for doing the capital punishment. You know, so when you look at the actual hadith, it says somebody who leaves Islam and they leave the brotherhood. Now back at that time, it was full of empires. So Islam was not only just a religion, it was actually worked as like its own government as well. So this would be similar to, let's say somebody is with the Prophet, peace be upon him, that they know all the ins and outs. There was a military to them because they had to stay alive. You know what I mean? They were in a place full of idol worshippers who were actively trying to kill them. You know what I mean? So in this time, if somebody is Muslim, they know military secrets, they know exactly their tactics of war, they know all these things. So if they left Islam is one thing, when they leave Islam and the brotherhood, basically that's another thing. So this is not something that you see nowadays. You know,
you do see it. You do see it these days, especially in Muslim-run countries. In Muslim-run countries, if you apostate, you're gonna be dealt with. In America, you know, where is that happening? In Iraq, Iran, Syria. You name it.
So these countries are war-torn countries. So there is, I know there is terrorist groups that they take power, but let's say countries that have actual governments, like let's say Egypt, tons of people, they leave Islam in Egypt, nothing happens to them. Tons of people leave Islam even in Saudi Arabia nowadays, and nothing happens to them. There's a lot of people, there was a guy just on live, He's an atheist. He left Islam after being Muslim for 25 years. He's posting about it all over on social media, and nothing happened to him. In
Where does he
Islam,
live?
he's in Morocco.
Okay.
Another
do you know if he's getting death threats?
He didn't say, but he's alive. You know what I mean? So, and not just he's alive, and he's posting about it. He's literally, clearly, he is not scared. You know, if he's on YouTube and he's talking to people about it. You know what I mean? So, this is one thing that even in Islam, let's say somebody left the Brotherhood as well, back when Islam was more like had a military as well.
Are you talking about the Islamic Brotherhood?
No. This is just the Arabic wording, which is the Brotherhood would be the military that was at that time, right? Military that was at that time is because the Muslims had to stay alive, surrounded by empires who are trying to expand. Nowadays, it's different because there is no such thing anymore. You know what I mean? So
Islam is trying to expand, and you know the funny thing about Islam is once they take over a territory, they essentially claim it forever. So they will fight forever to claim a territory if they take it over to the death.
Isn't that what everyone does?
No, not necessarily.
I mean, if you look at the Crusaders, you know, when you look at the atrocities that they'd done, they took over the land, and they didn't, and the Romans as well. They didn't, and the Spaniards. I mean, if you actually look at the history, you could look this up as well, about the religion that has killed the most amount of people would be Christianity. And by far, too. It's not really that close. You know, Islam, when Islam was spreading, there was, so in the Quran, because we don't judge the religion by the people who follow it, we judge the people by how they follow the religion. When you look at the Quran, it says not to be the aggressors, for surely Allah does not like the aggressors. And it also says
what hadith is that?
That's an ayah in the Quran. So I don't know the exact number, but if you look up like those words, do not be the aggressors, for surely Allah does not like the aggressors. Then you'll find the exact quote, because that's exactly what it says.
Islam's goal is a caliphate, and eventually to have a global takeover and convert everybody to Islam, which I'm not going to. I would die before I do that.
That's not Islam's. This is not Islam's goal. So in the Quran yes, of course it's not, because
it's not convert or die or live as
in the Quran it says La ikraha fi din. La ikraha fi din means there is no compulsion in religion, which means you cannot force anybody to accept Islam. Nobody. It also says in the Quran, if your enemy inclines towards peace, you must also incline towards peace. It says if an enemy comes to you with his heart strained at the idea of fighting you, you must provide him protection. You can look up all these verses that I'm saying. The thing is, you're in the US, you're gonna hear a lot of stuff from the media. You know what I mean? There's some things the US doesn't talk about so much. Like, do you know about the ship that was destroyed by Israel?
Yeah, I've heard about. Yeah, that's an ancient. Yes, they killed the children. All of that.
Yeah. So there's certain things that only some people heard about, and then other things that are widely broadcasted. You know what I mean? So this is making an image of Islam, right?
Well, I do know that Islam's goal is to have a caliphate, and it is to take over the world, and it is a convert or die. It is a convert or die. It's what they're doing. It's what they do. They go. Look at England. Or look at the UK. Look at Sweden. Look at Paris. Yeah. You know, there's an invasion. They go in there. They populate. They take over, and they have they use taqiyya a lot. You know, a lie when it benefits you. And whenever Islam is seen in a position that is weak, kind of capitulate and be like, oh, sorry, okay, everything like that. But once the other people let their guard down, then they go into attack mode.
Okay, so the
that's
people
attack.
So the people that you're saying attack, first of all, still la ikraha fi din. This is a verse from the Quran. There's no compulsion in religion. These people that you're saying they go and they attack, you got to look at the people that we're talking about. So, for example, let's say Iran, right? Iran, this has been terrorist groups have came out of there, and Iraq, like Iraq. Terrorist groups have also came out of there. The ones who actually defeat these terrorist groups are Muslims. And otherwise than that, the ones who they actually kill, 99% of them are Muslims. Most majority that these groups are killing are actually other Muslims. So when you go into a country, let's say what happened in Iraq, you go into a country, you kill nearly 1 million people. There's different estimates, 200,000, 1 million, because you say that there's weapons of mass destruction. Then you find there's no weapons of mass destruction, and now you've dismantled their whole entire government. You're not going to have a whole lot of people who really love the United States. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah. No. I wasn't a big fan. I wasn't a big fan of that.
Yeah.
It led a vacuum, and it ended up whenever we took out Gaddafi. Whenever they took out Gaddafi, it left a vacuum, and then that brought in ISIS, and But Islam does have a violent tendency toward them. How long do you think that I could go to some Middle East country and just say, you know what, screw Muhammad? I think he was a pedophile. I think he, I don't agree with what he said. What's going to happen to me? I'm
by
dead.
the way, don't use that word about the prophet. There's more respectful ways to speak about it. You know what I mean? But
what if it's the truth?
You could believe that it's the truth, but in the United States. Okay, if we're in the United States about 200 years ago, the age of consent was about 7 years old. In the Philippines today, it's 13, right? So
when did Muhammad marry Aisha? When did he take her as a wife?
She was 9 years old.
No, she was younger than that. That's whenever she was 9. Whenever she consummated.
Consummated the marriage, which is actually be able to,
have sex,
touch her and everything.
Have sex with her.
This is, if you look in the Bible, there is no age of consent. And the morality, what we believe in Islam, she was physically and mentally mature. There's a standard. Here in the U.S., we say
she was physically and mentally mature at the age of 9.
According to the Hadith, yes.
Okay.
And what is the age of consent according to the Bible?
The age of consent according to the Bible, I would have to look up what the age of consent is according to the Bible.
There is none.
We can find out.
Right, so find out, please do. So, and when you actually look at the Jewish scriptures from the Old Testament, it says there was a woman named Rebecca, and she was actually married to, I forgot exactly who it was. It was a prophet when she was 3 years old. And then when you look at actually what the biblical scholars, and you could look this up, what the biblical scholars say about Mary and Joseph, through extrapolations, they say that Mary was 11 years old while Joseph was 90 years old.
Say that again. I was looking something up. What was the last one you said there?
Yeah.
And the Bible says that the age of consent is around puberty, and I don't know very many 9-year-olds that reach puberty by the age of 9.
No, this happens. You could look it up today. Today, I think it's like 12. I think like 9 to 12 years old. Look it up. Maybe I'm wrong.
And if and if that does happen, it's probably very rare.
It could be a rare thing that happened, but in Islam, you're not allowed to go unless the person has reached mental and physical maturity, which is reaching puberty.
Yeah. And also, do you think that Muhammad? Do you also think that Muhammad was a? Do you think that he was racist?
Not in any way, shape, or form. The Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, he said that no black man is better than a white man, nor is a white man better than a black man, nor is an Arab man better than a non-Arab man, or a non-Arab man better than an Arab man.
Oh, okay. So the raisin heads, it doesn't say that 3 black slaves is the equivalent to 1 white.
Yeah, this is something that people take out of context. And you know the reason they take it out of context is because he was mentioning a slave who had became Muslim. And because he became Muslim, that one had became greater in value to the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him.
And do you know how Muhammad died?
He died of old age.
No, he was poisoned.
When he was poisoned, he survived.
Yes, but the effects of the poison followed him and eventually led to his death. And you know who he was poisoned
he passed
by?
away many years later. It was a Jewish woman.
Right, and do you know what he did to the Jewish woman's family?
No, but he survived many years later.
He murdered them. He murdered the Jewish woman's family, and then for some reason this it's in the Quran.
Okay, show me what ayah in the Quran.
I'll look it up for you. Let's see. Was poisoned. And it's funny because even his let's see. There's several authentic hadiths that describe Prophet Muhammad was offered poisoned food by a Jewish woman from Khaybar, which he spit out, but ultimately affected him, leading to his death years later, with his final illness reminding him of the pain, leading to Muslims to consider him a martyr. But do you know what Muhammad said?
This is a Christian website. Especially, it's saying leading to Muslims. You got to find it from an actual source. You know what I mean?
Okay, so I got. Let me see right here. Let's see. Sahih al-Bukhari, Jizya and Mawara. When Khaybar was conquered, a roasted poisoned sheep was presented to the Prophet as a gift by the Jews. The Prophet ordered, "Let all the Jews who have been here assemble before me." The Jews were collected, and the Prophet said to them, "I'm going to ask a question. Will you tell me the truth?" They said, "Yes." The Prophet asked, "Who is your father?" Then they replied, "So and so." Also, for the Quran to be the direct word of God, of Allah, he didn't make the Quran very easy to read. It's not put together very well.
The Quran is written in the Arabic language, but
you got to read it in Arabic, right? Because you can't translate it. But
no, I read it in English, and it's I understand it, pretty well. It's pretty easy to read.
Let's see.
The Bible that you have. Who wrote the Bible you have?
It was written by man, inspired by God.
Okay, so King James, the homosexual man, did he have the right to change the Bible? He had authority to change the Bible, take passages out?
He can do that, but the gospel remains the truth.
Which gospel remains the truth?
That Jesus Christ is our Lord and Savior, and that we are saved. We're saved by the death, burial, and resurrection of Jesus Christ. that
Mhm.
through his death we are saved, and when we accept him as our Lord and Savior, we become saved not by anything that we do, but what he did for us.
But what I asked you was which Bible is the correct word of God? Because you got
You
different
can find it.
Bibles that have
You can
different
find
amounts of books.
you gotta read and find yourself approved whenever you read it. But yeah, man likes to corrupt the Bible. Man likes to try and do that, but
Mhm.
the gospel ends up remaining the same. They can only change it so much. They can only change it so
Mhm.
much.
You know, the biblical scholars said that there is like many errors in the Bible, and you know there had been books that had been taken out and books that had been added into the Bible. There was a
Sure.
whole story. I mean, you know the story about Jesus, where it was with the woman who had done adultery, and the people, they went to go throw the stones, and then Jesus, he said, "Let those without sin cast the first stone." You know, so the biblical scholars, they had taken this out because they said this was an addition that had been added into the Bible, and it's not any of the earliest manuscripts. You know, clearly there is, if there's so much adding into the Bible, it says over 33,000 different verses have been added or removed to the Bible. How do you know what's from God and what's not from God? Or
It's all
what's
from
from God,
God.
what's from men?
It's all from God.
Okay, so how could people remove verses that are from God? And how can people, after Jesus' time, add verses that are from God?
Well, there's different translations of the Quran as well.
They all have the same. They all have the same meaning.
Oh,
Same
exactly.
exact
And
words too.
no, they don't have the same exact words. There's some
And
things that are removed and
it's
taken
literally
out.
different.
But
No, nothing has been removed.
and
Nothing has been
and in the
taken out. You know that I know somebody who has memorized all 10, and these are 10 styles of recitation. That's all it is. It's because people have different accents. They, like the Arabs at the time, they had different tribes, and you know the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, he mentioned that these different dialects were all revealed to him.
but Muhammad
So
was
it's,
illiterate. Muhammad was illiterate.
yeah, he was illiterate. They were revealed to him. He didn't, not that he read them, they were revealed in the same way the Quran was revealed. And
So
most
he had
of the Islamic
so
scholars, they say towards the end of Prophet Muhammad's life, peace be upon him, that he became literate. He was able to write, able to read and write.
he was able to. You think he was able to read and write whenever he died? I think you'd have to prove that.
There's a difference of opinion, like between the Islamic scholarship, but it's regardless of the point, you know. So,
What's up,
which
bro?
they have the same meaning, they were all revealed to the Prophet.
What's up, brother Dylan?
Hey, how you doing, man?
Doing good.
Good deal.
Yeah, we were talking about, I just wanted to have a little discussion on ICE and whether or not, hey, do people support it or not, but also ask a Christian, questions. And now we got onto Islam, which was kind of funny because I was thinking about discussing Islam because there is a lot of flaws in Islam, and I would have to just, I have a whole thing ready for it. I'm not going to get into it now, but it's often messy because, if you look at Islam in a negative light, you have a target on yourself. You put a target on yourself. Um, Me personally, I don't think that Muhammad was a good person. I think he was bloodthirsty. I don't think he even trusted his own thoughts. He thought that he was possessed by a demon. He tried to kill himself multiple times by throwing himself off of a
The Prophet
cliff.
Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, to kill himself.
Uh,
You know,
did Muhammad not try and throw himself off a cliff?
Each one of the wings that the angel had, it says it would cover the whole entire horizon. So when this angel appears to him, he's going to be petrified. At first, yes, he didn't know what's going on. He was scared, and the angel, told him, do not fear. In Arabic, he told him, do not fear. And as you see in the Bible, you'll see many instances where an angel comes to somebody and they thought they were going to die. They were in fear with the same exact thing.
I could also see if you get, if a demon appears to you, which would be a fallen angel, that a demon would kind of lie to you, but also use, hey, do not be afraid, but also be a deceiver.
Does it say?
Yeah, I could say the same thing. Yeah.
No, does it say in the Quran that I was just curious. I'm sorry. Does it say in the Quran that
no,
the angel that appeared to Muhammad said, "Do not be afraid" or "Do not fear"?
Yeah, it says it in the Hadith, which is the narrations of the Prophet Muhammad. In the Quran, I actually have to check, but
Do you
but it does.
So
yes.
do you follow?
It does
Do
say
you
as,
follow the Hadith then? You do follow the Hadith?
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I was just curious. I'm just wondering.
No problem. So when it says, I do have one question though. When it says in the Bible, and it's a saying about Amalek to kill the women, the children, the donkeys, to kill everything, basically. Do you believe this is morally Old Testament?
Are you talking about the Amalekites?
Yes.
Okay,
But what
do
about?
I think it was justified? Yes, I do think it was justified.
You gotta think too though.
And
when it's wartime, but not only that, I mean, they were told to wipe everything out, but then later on in the chapter, a couple of chapters later, you see that there were still some remaining. So obviously they weren't all wiped out. But like I said, it was wartime, and that's all. That's all.
So in wartime, is it correct to kill all the women and all the children and all the animals?
I don't know. Is it? What's fair during war?
You guys are the Christians. I mean, you guys believe that this is what God revealed, and you guys believe that Jesus is eternal, that he's, part of the Trinity. So, if he's part of the Trinity and he is God, then it means that Jesus revealed this to himself.
What does that have to do with murdering donkeys?
I gotta use the restroom. I'll be right back.
Yeah, I'm saying if it's morally correct, because we were going about the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We're talking about morals. So, do you believe that it is correct to kill the women, the children?
Y'all were talking. You two were talking about morals. I'm sorry, I'm trying to interrupt you. Okay. Do I think it's right? No, I don't. But there's a lot of stuff.
I have a very interesting
is moral.
I have a very interesting take on this, but I gotta use the restroom real quick. I'll be right back though.
No problem. Yeah, I gotta get something too. But a lot of the claims about Islam are just pretty much all of them are just completely made up, or they're wildly misattributed to Islam. Like he mentioned one about there was 3 black slaves and there was 1 white slave, right? And the white slave had, the Prophet picked him over them, in value. But the white slave is the only one who actually became a Muslim. And that is the reason why he picked him over them for value. You know what I mean? Because anyone who's a Muslim, that's going to have more value to the Prophet. So
where's that story at?
Things like that in the Hadith.
Okay.
So we believe in Quran and we believe in Hadith. Quran, we believe, is direct words, straight from God. And then the Hadith are the words of the Prophet. But we believe the Prophet, he doesn't just speak of his own will. It's God who reveals it to him. But he will still say it, with his own words or in his own way. The most perfect is what God said, but we still take the Hadith as part of the religion.
Who wrote the Hadiths? Were they written down, or were they revealed, or?
The Hadith were revealed, like from God to the prophet, through the angel Gabriel. And we believe in like angel Gabriel, we believe in Moses and Jesus. They're revealed to the prophet, and then he would have someone write them down immediately when they were revealed.
Oh, okay.
And this is the same way like the Quran was revealed. And we believe in Jesus. We believe Jesus is a messenger of God. We believe he's the Messiah. We believe that he's going to be coming back and defeating the Dajjal, the deceiver, which is the Antichrist.
Right.
We believe Jesus was born of the Virgin Mary. You know, like we hold Jesus to a very high regard. You know, so even when we say Jesus, we're supposed to say peace and blessings be upon him. You know, just like how we say with the Prophet Muhammad. And we
Right.
believe when Jesus comes back and we believe he'll pass away. When he passes away, that he would be buried next to the Prophet Muhammad. You know, so there's a lot of like reverence that I believe a lot of people don't talk about. It's like maybe people want the Muslims and Christians to stay divided, you know, and maybe
You cut out. You cut out there. But I will say this. Let me just actually you're muted. I didn't do that, but I just let you know that you're muted. And this is, I would just say this. This is kind of my theory. This is my theory. I just want to kind of touch back on the Amalekites, and like I said, I hear this from the atheists. I hear this from Muslims and everything. It's funny, and this is, like I said, this is just my theory. But the Amalekites were people, and I believe that they have ties to Nephilim, if I'm not mistaken, as well. But also, I think that God is all powerful, all knowing. He knows everything. He can be everywhere at once. He surrounds us all. He knows everything from beginning to end, every possibility. Omniscient, omnipotent, omnipotent, all of that. It's kind of funny because we are finding now that there's such thing as genetic memory. So let's say you practice a culture. I could attest this as being Cuban, or being coming from Cuban descent. There's certain things that I do that I don't wouldn't understand why I like certain things that Cubans like, and it's like I was predisposed to it. Like as a child, I love Cuban coffee, extremely strong Cuban coffee. While most people would drink it, they'd be like, "Dude, this is disgusting."
Diesel.
It's just like, yeah. And there's things that, and I was raised up pretty Americanized. I didn't have too much Cuban culture. I had a little bit of Cuban culture in it, but I was attracted to things that Cubans would do almost like naturally. So maybe, and I'm just saying, maybe God, being all knowing, and this is scientific. This is things that science is just barely finding out, that genetics carry memories. So, if he did make an order to wipe out the children and everything, could he have foreseen that there may have been a genetic memory that would be carried on, and they would be continuing to do evil? I would say it's a possibility. I can't prove it, but I'm just saying it's an interesting theory if you ask me.
Because the thing is, and of course, like in Islam, I could also say the same thing about any deaths or killing that happened in Islam. But what I say about like all these moral arguments is they don't really work in any capacity either way, because at the end of the day, a real Christian and a real Muslim, God revealed it. God is all wise. That's it. If you believe in that God and you believe Christianity is the truth, or you believe Islam is the truth, God creates morals. He's the most moral. You know what I mean? So that kind of like any moral arguments is not like they don't push me in. You get what I'm saying? It's about establishing what is true. You know what I mean?
Well,
So
I would have to say first we have to distinguish which God is the true God.
No, that's true. with moral arguments, our morals are subjective. Like without God in the picture, our morals are subjective. They're constantly changing. You know what people could wear outside 100 years ago, they can't wear today. You know what I mean?
I agree with you there.
They other way around, yeah.
I agree with you there, but that comes more whenever I talk with atheists and things like that. But since we're both believers in a religion and stuff like that, we can probably come to a conclusion. However, the Quran points to believers of the Gospels and to the believers of the Jewish faith, the Hebrew faith, to follow their books. Yet it also and it says that they should follow their books at the same time, calling them corrupted. And if all of that came from God, Allah, then how would it have become corrupted, and why would Allah instruct them to go to their corrupted books?
Okay, so this is a specific instance, and look up everything I'm saying. You know, I'm not like just a book of knowledge, but I know this, and you could look it all up. So there was one ruling where, remember, the Quran was revealed to the Prophet in steps. You know, so there is differences of opinions amongst the scholars, but there's an opinion that I kind of tend to go a little more towards. There were parts of the books that were still true, right? So, for example, there was a part in the Torah that was still true about this legal ruling, where the Jews came to the Prophet, peace be upon him, and he said, go to your own book, you know, because that part still had the truth in it. But as the Quran is being revealed in steps, later the Quran reveals a verse where it says that the Torah and the Injil, which is the original Bible, were revealed by God, but it says the Quran is muhayyim over them. It's like an indicator, and it says, woe to those who, this is a different verse, woe to those who change with their hands what God had wrote for a small exchange, for a price. You know, so this is where we see the Quran is basically the preserved version, because the Quran has came as a confirmation of the books that had came before it. But Jesus' book was revealed to him by God, by the Creator. It's not meant for the Prophet's time, because Allah has revealed the Quran, and the Quran, it says, it is a authority. That's the word, authority over it. So the way we look at it nowadays, like I didn't talk with the sheikh, I guess like the religious leader at the mosque, and he says anything someone, you know, they bring you from the Bible, unless it contradicts the Quran, then we don't confirm it nor deny it. You know what I mean? So this is where we see some verses, like where Jesus, he says, what do you call it? Why do you call me good? For only God is good alone. You know, there's verses like this where we can say this, it may be from the original Injil that Allah had revealed to Jesus before all these people, as you self-admitted, had changed the words and gotten their hands into it.
They changed the words a lot later.
What'd you say? Hold on. What'd you say? What did you say? An Injil was the original Bible?
Yes.
What is the Injil? It's like
the Injil,
like Testament.
Yeah. So we believe we don't have it today. We believe it was at the time of Jesus.
How do you know what's in it if you don't have it?
Oh, we're not supposed to know what's in it. It wasn't meant to be for all times. We believe that God revealed the book for Jesus' time, but God has progressive revelation. So during the Prophet Muhammad's time, it's a different scripture.
You know, it seems
how is it
different?
I'm sorry, Lupin, but how is it, if it can't be, if it hasn't been changed, if it's been preserved, how is it different now than it was when in Muhammad's time?
So we believe that the Torah and the Injil have been changed and they have not been preserved, but the Quran had been preserved.
You said the Quran was preserved, and I'm asking how it was preserved, if it's different now than it was in Muhammad's time. Then
Oh no, the Quran, yeah. So the Quran never changed. If I said that, then that was
okay.
wrong. If I said that.
Did it change whenever whenever a goat ate some of the pages of the Quran? What happened to those pages?
Yeah, this first is a weak narration. It's not Quran. This is a weak narration.
Aisha's the one that said it. So we don't trust what Aisha says.
No, in Islam we have what's called the sanad. A sanad is a chain, and we know the history of each one of the narrators. So all the narrators in the chain, that this person from this person from this person, they all have to be known to be trustworthy people. And they would even go and they would test the people on their memory. They would test them in different ways. If the person had gotten of old age and their memory had became bad, they wouldn't take narrations from them anymore. So any chain that has maybe even one person who got kind of bad in their memory, they say they take away the whole thing. It's not authentic. This is what we call da'if, which is weak.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can see why they would want it to be weak. Let me see. Looks like there's about 30 different variations of the Quran. So does the Quran also get changed?
The Quran has never been changed. And
so
the Quran,
why are there different versions?
There's no different version of the Quran. Not one. There's different styles of recitation, which is just people reciting same words with different accents. And all it does, it can only enrich the meaning. There is not, in the whole thing, and I do know somebody who's memorized literally all of them, and it's only,
37?
I think it's either, there's not 37.
variants?
There is not 37. That I know for a fact. There is no 37 styles of recitation. And they're not variants either, you know. This is something only found in Christianity. But in Islam, it's not there. In Islam, we have styles of recitation. Not one contradicts anything from the other. Whereas if you look in the Bible, if you look in different accounts with Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, you will see stories that completely contradict. Like, for example, with Judas, what did he do with the money? When he got the money, and how did he die?
You tell me.
So
What difference does that make, though? Because if you have four people trying to recall the same story from four different perspectives at four different times in four different contexts, I mean, they're probably going to tell four relatively different stories, but keep the same point that he committed suicide, right?
I agree with that. What I say here is, how can that be the words of God then? This is the words of men.
Yeah, but
that's my point.
They're inspired by God.
If they're inspired by God, how are they contradicting each other?
They're not contradicting, though. It's just four different people from four different perspectives. Like, okay, if the three of us were standing at an intersection and we saw a car crash, and we all gave our account of that car crash, there would be one detail, maybe two, that was like relatively consistent, probably pretty close to the same between the three of us. But other than that, it'd probably be mostly different. So, I mean, that's just different people's minds work different ways, man.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
That.
Yeah, no. If you, me, and our Muslim friend all saw the same car accident, maybe I saw, you know, a different person on the street, or I noticed a person on the street that he didn't. He heard something that I didn't. He heard the tire screeching. You know, you saw the car flipping over, and I didn't see the car flipping over at the same time. And you know, we're all.
So it's not necessarily contradicting each other. It's just
we saw it. We
saw it a different way.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's not contradictive.
So when it says that Judas, that he, with the money, he purchased a field, and then another one says he threw all the money in the well. And then when it says he hung himself, And then another one says he fell headlong and his guts basically burst out. How do you
Yeah, well,
reconcile?
maybe he was hanging, and I don't know, after the rope got old, it broke, and when he hit the ground from the, you know, the gases welling up inside his body from the decomposition, he burst open.
That explains everything except headlong. He fell headlong, which is head first.
Yeah,
I mean, maybe it was a
what
high
he did with the
tree.
money.
and also if a body is decomposing, it weakens. You know, the elasticity weakens. You tend to bloat. You know, and so even if you fall headlong, the moment that you impact the floor, you'll essentially explode. You know,
But do the schematic or whatever it is, the semantics of those three accounts of that situation or whatever, does that make it a salvation issue? You know what I'm saying? Does that mean that everything that Jesus said wasn't true?
I mean, everything Jesus really said, of course, is true. But if we go to the Bible and you look at the verses that Jesus actually says, somebody goes up to Jesus, they say, "Oh, good teacher." And Jesus responds to them, "Why do you call me good? For only God is good alone." Isn't he clearly saying he's not God?
No, not necessarily. Because he wasn't.
He's speaking parabolically.
He didn't. I mean, he gave up his divinity. He was fully man whenever he was speaking to those people. I mean,
so he was no longer God.
No, he was still God. He was both. He was both and. I don't know. He's God. He can do whatever he wants, man. He created the world. I can't tell you the science of it. I mean, but he did it.
If God wants to put himself on the earth to live as a human, can God not have the ability to restrict some of his powers, to veil some of his powers, to live a fully human life, to accomplish a mission to save all of humanity? Do you think that God can't do that?
I'll tell you why it poses two problems. I say it's against God's nature, because what is God? So if he's walking around, he's talking, this is a human. So what does it mean to be God? So that's one thing. If he takes out these attributes, how's he still God? And another thing is, how can we take this? Okay, if God wanted to kill his God, and then you throw God in the hellfire, can he do this?
He can do it. I mean, me personally, I think he can do whatever. I've never looked at it like that. Like, can he, or do I think he would? I mean, he's God. I've never looked at it like that.
So couldn't it be possible then that I could be your God?
No.
Absolutely not. Come on.
Why not?
Come on, brother. You're crazy.
Not even close.
You're out of there.
I'm being respectful here, but I'm asking, what if this is
could I
my
be your
fleshly
God?
form?
Could I be your God?
No, but we don't believe that God goes into human forms and splits into three, and we just believe.
Who said he split into three?
So then our God's more powerful than yours, because our God can do whatever he desires to do.
No, because this is something that is restricting power. Like, for example, if I say somebody's really strong and, you can't not hit this amount for bench press, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, did you write the handbook? Did you write the handbook on how he can use his power? You know what I mean, though?
I'm saying, what if
Let's say if me and you got in the ring. Let's say me and you got into the octagon, into a fight, into a physical MMA fight. Just play along with me here, all right? And I weigh about 350 pounds, pure muscle and everything like that. And you're around 175, 150 pounds. And I'd say, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and restrict myself and tie both of my hands behind my back, and I still defeat you. Can you not restrict your own power? Can you not restrict your own power?
What I'm saying is he can, and it would no longer be God. Because
Why
what
not?
is God? What is the
But it,
what is there no essence to God? Is there no attributes to God? You know, these are
there, yes,
attributes.
there is.
He still had the essence.
For example, God is God eternal? Does God
Yes.
die?
Jesus Christ died while he was in human form, but he also defeated death in the resurrection.
So God died.
God died and then defeated death in the resurrection. Muhammad died and he's still dead.
Yeah, he died. It says in the Quran,
Is
Muhammad
Muhammad
is
coming back
is
too?
not but a man. No, Jesus is coming back. We believe in that.
How
We
do
believe,
what do Muslims
yeah.
believe that how the world ends?
That's
You
a
know what I
good
mean?
question. So, yeah, there's going to be a lot of signs. It's like we start with the minor signs, and this is like a big evidence of Islam. I suggest looking into it. Like one of them, time will feel like it's going by faster. It says the barefoot Bedouin Arabs will be competing in tall buildings. You look at the tallest building in the world, it's in Dubai, you know, which 1400 years ago, the Prophet couldn't possibly know they would have these resources. And these are signs of the hour. And now they're building one in Jeddah, which is going to be even taller than that one. They're literally, you know, competing in it. You know, and it says that people will be wearing musical instruments on their head, you know, which at the time, these are 1400 years ago, people in a desert, they will never understand if you tell them headphones, you know, but now we look at it and we know exactly what is meant, you know. So all these signs, we believe that, and there's many more. There's over 3,000 predictions in the Hadith and the Quran. Not a single one of them is false. You could check this, check everything from it, you know. So
That sperm is developed between your backbone and what is it, the back of your spine and pelvis, I believe.
the backbone and ribs. So
Backbone and ribs.
there's
Is that where sperm comes from?
it actually doesn't say sperm in the text. So the
What does it
text,
say?
yeah.
The seed.
So the text says ma, which ma means a liquid, right? So this is saying we came from a gushing liquid. So when it says sperm, it says I think I forget like aql or ajab. I forgot the exact word, but it doesn't use the Arabic word for sperm. Now it says that we
The liquid.
yeah,
The liquid. What other liquid?
just
Is it pee?
1 second though. Just 1 second. So it says that where we came from was a gushing fluid that came from the backbone and the rib.
That's where we come from? I don't know. Everybody just went quiet all of a sudden.
Is that not where we come from?
Yeah, is that not? Do we come from the backbone in our rib?
Okay, now all right. Someone called me, so that kind of cut me off. Can you hear me?
Oh, yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Okay, so this is another miracle from the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. That it says it came from Allah, of course. It says that it started with a gushing fluid. In recent scientific discoveries, they found out that when somebody ejaculates, right, that it starts actually within the seminal vessels. The seminal vessels are located higher up than the testicles. They're located literally right in between the backbone and the ribs. And
Weren't you
this,
just saying he wasn't talking about sperm?
yeah, this is what do you call it? A fluid that comes out because the sperm is still mostly in the testicles, right? But this is where the liquid actually starts, and you could look up about this as well because it says mat. It doesn't say where the sperm was located. It says where the liquid was located.
Let's see. I'm seeing the primary site of sperm creation with cells dividing and maturing is in the seminiferous tubules, coiled tube behind each testes where sperm matures and is stored. Transport. Let's see. The vas deferens transport mature sperm from the epidermis. Sperm mixes with fluids from the seminal vessels and
That's it
prostate.
right there. Yeah.
The seminal vessels. Where are the seminal vessels? Let's see. Those are located behind the bladder. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's not looking too good.
So it was
Those
talking
are
about it was talking about a gushing fluid that mixes with sperm.
Yeah, that is from the seminal vesicles, and the seminal vesicles are in between your backbone and your ribs.
I think you should look into biology. Let's see. It says situated in the pelvis behind the bladder and above the rectum near the prostate. That's where it's located.
Yeah, between the backbone and the ribs, it's still in between them.
It would be below them.
It's not saying that it comes all the way from the chest. It's saying where it came from.
That's a reach, I would say. Does the let me see? Let me ask you this: does Muhammad know what? Did Muhammad know whether he was going to go to heaven or hell?
No,
Okay, why not?
it's God's decision. But well, you know, he did. Yeah, he was promised paradise. Actually, I'm wrong. No, he did. Yeah, he was promised paradise.
Did he?
In
Where
Ataynak
was he
al-Kawthar,
promised?
which is
Does it
uh,
say he? Does it
yeah.
say he was?
Yes, in the Quran it says, "Inna a'taynak al-Kawthar." So indeed, we have given you Kawthar, which is a river in paradise. So that's him being promised paradise.
Does it? Does it say? Someone told me this. I'm not. I'm just saying this. I'm just wondering if there's any truth to it. That you can, as a Muslim, you can get to your version of heaven, or however you look at it, but you still may not be let in. Is that accurate?
No.
No.
So
Okay.
yeah, when you go to heaven, you're in heaven. But there
You're
is
there.
some, yeah, there is some Muslims who will burn in the hellfire before going to heaven.
Oh,
Before
like
they go to heaven, they'll burn in the
like
hellfire.
like
Yes.
purgatory, like the Catholics.
I mean, it's maybe, yeah, it could be similar. I mean, there could be a man who's Muslim and he does the worst atrocities, the worst things his whole life. And then a man who goes and worships God and does right his whole life. They should definitely have, you know, different rewards. That person still is not worthy of the same exact reward. You know what I mean? Unless, you know, God knows. God's the one who places them. Unless that man worked harder and had higher faith, you know, and his actions outdid the other man's and his faith outdid the other man's.
So what's the actual right amount of like good things, or how do you not good things, but you know what I'm trying to say? I'm
how
not
many
trying to be
good deeds?
smart aleck or anything, bro. I'm really wondering.
How many good deeds do you need to
Yeah,
either
good deeds or whatever.
cancel out, or outweigh your bad deeds?
So what we believe is that none of us could get into heaven through our own deeds. It's only through God's mercy, because heaven is greater than any deeds that we could possibly ever do. You know, so we believe that we do good deeds and there's bad deeds, but there's certain deeds, they mean a lot more to God. So this is all God's decision. Like, for example, there was a woman, she was a prostitute for like her whole life.
Was it
And she,
Kahira bin
huh?
Zaid? Kahira bin Zaid bin
I
Thabit?
don't, no, I don't remember her name, but she took off her shoe because there was a thirsty dog. She filled it up with water and she fed it to the dog. For that alone, God forgave her for all of her sins.
God forgave her, or the prophet?
The prophet, he
can't.
cannot forgive anybody.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm glad you were.
Who do
What's
you
that?
go to for forgiveness if there's? Because I'm guessing y'all probably don't do it like Christians do. I don't guess.
With like intercession, we just go straight to God.
How? Through
Because
prayer, or?
through like we could talk to God in any language. He can understand any language. You just talk to him. You say, God, forgive me for I have sinned.
But does that guarantee your salvation?
If you mean it from your heart and you're truly sincere and you give up the sin, you're completely forgiven for it. And there's a verse in the Quran that says, إن الذين قالوا ربنا الله ثم استقاموا تتنزل عليهم الملائكة ألا تخافوا ولا تحزنوا وأبشروا بالجنة التي كنتم توعدون. Which means, indeed, those who call their Lord Allah, قالوا ربنا الله ثم the angels will descend upon them. They'll say, peace be upon them, and those people will not, nor will they grieve, and they will get the glad tidings of heaven for what they used to do. So whoever believes in Allah, believes in Islam, then they will enter paradise eventually.
So all you
Right.
have to do is believe.
You have to believe. You have to also uphold your belief, which is by doing prayer, doing fasting.
What about
So you
dawah?
have to say it again.
What about dawah?
What's
You don't.
dawah?
You don't have to do da'wah. Da'wah is when you call people towards Islam. This is something. It's a
Mhm.
righteous. It's a righteous action to do, but la ikraha fi din. There's no compulsion in religion. You're not allowed to force your religion onto others. If you do, you're sinful for it, and God will hold you accountable. There is Muslims who do, and they're sinful Muslims, that God's going to hold them all accountable for it. Just
But
as
that's what.
there's Christians who are sinful and they
But
go
that's what.
against the Bible.
Oh, all of them.
But that's what Allah commanded Muhammad to do, is to have them convert or die or live as a I forget, a dhimmi, a subhuman essentially. So
and where's that?
in
Where's
in in the,
that?
Qur- in the in the Quran, toward the
Where
end,
where does it say towards towards the end of the Quran?
I can
Force
find it
them.
for you.
Yeah, find me the verse. It says force them to accept Islam, or else make them demi.
It's funny, all right?
Hilarious.
It say something in there about man, what was it in the Quran about oh man, about murdering those who don't believe or won't believe, or yeah, like he said, won't convert, I guess. Or am I talking about the same thing or the same thing that
I
he
would
might have
be an
heard?
infidel. What would I do if I was an infidel and I refuse Muhammad? And as a matter of fact, I refuse and disdain Muhammad under Sharia.
Under Sharia law, if you're by infidel, you like what, disbeliever, Christian, like
Yeah, I say
then
I reject Allah. I think that he's a demon. I think that he is a false messenger, essentially Satan. Yeah, what would happen under Sharia?
this nothing will happen. Now, if you're going around
You won't
blaspheming,
get
yeah,
killed.
if you're going around telling people, oh, he's a demon, he's a devil, this is what they do under an Islamic state. First, they take you. This is about maybe like 3 days, and well, no, this they don't do. They kick you out of the land. Yeah, that's for the apostate. I was thinking, but
Are you
you're just a Christian over there. Then they kick you out of the land, and this is because you're going around blaspheming. You can't go around insulting Allah. But if you go around and you preach Christianity, or you say you're Christian, you don't believe in Allah, but you speak with respect, then no, nothing can happen to you. And Allah, He says, Allah has not forbidden you from treating those, Christians and Jews kindly, that you're supposed. And Allah, He also says, you will find people closest to you in faith, and another translation says closest to you in love, will be the Christians, for they have people who are not amongst the arrogant. They have priests, they have pastors. Even during times of war, if your enemy inclines towards peace, you must incline towards peace. This is talking about disbelievers. That's a verse in the Quran. You can look it up. If the enemy inclines towards peace, you must incline towards peace, right? So and also in battle, you can't kill women, you can't kill children. You're not even allowed to harm the earth, like the trees or the plants or the animals. None of this is allowed. You know, so
How do you have a
obviously
battle?
Yeah.
this, yeah, you gotta fear God. I mean, you'll make mistakes, maybe you'll hit a tree or something, you know, but you have to fear God. And if you fear God and you do your best, absolute best, save, you know, now women, not including women who are fighting in the battlefield trying to kill you, right? But women in their houses, women who are not fighting along with the soldiers, you know, this, you have to do your absolute best to protect their life. And if they come to you with their heart strained at fighting you, you must offer them protection. This is also another verse in the Quran.
So if you're in war and the women on the opposing side come to you and say that they don't want to fight, then you have to. Oh man, there's a lot to look into. I'll tell you that. There's a lot to look into.
Yeah, I suggest no to look into it for sure. I mean,
I definitely have been. I do have some questions, but
of
yeah,
course.
it's
I have a lot. Would you want to come back and give me a moment to Darth? I don't know if I want to let you in right now because I kind of want to shut it down. I got some stuff that I got to do. But would you be willing to come back after I do some research? I'll bring up the hadiths for you that are somewhat problematic, and I'll go by what your own book says. And I'll because I wasn't expecting to have a conversation with a Muslim, and I do want to keep it fairly cordial.
not with a cordial.
Yeah.
Appreciate that for real.
Yeah, no, I mean,
It's the only
like,
way to be.
yeah,
I will say this though: some of the things that I may find you may take offense to, but
if it's authentic, yeah, if it's authentic, there's no like, and you read it, I believe in all of it. You know what I mean? So there's nothing that would like offend me. But there's weak narrations. There's something called modu'a, which means fabricated, which these are like very bad. Basically, fabricated is like we throw it away and we don't, you know, we don't even look at it.
you
Weak
talking about
means, yeah.
abrogation.
I mean, these are not Quran. There's nothing like in the Quran that's like weak or anything. But in the Hadith, yes, they're. But we measure them. We have them by Sahih, which is what we take. We take anything that is authentic. You know, so authentic. This is scholars looking over the chains, and then each person in the chain has to be trustworthy. It's if you really look up about sanad in Islam, which is chains, you'll find it is the most accurate historical documents that we have in any. There's no process that is this strict in anything in history. Like the stuff we know about Aristotle and all this stuff, none of it is measured even close to as accurate. You know, do we know who this person was, and then were they known to be a liar? Was their memory good? Like they know the whole entire history is recorded. You know what I mean? So I will say I got work hella early in the morning. You know what I mean? I didn't expect it to be, man, like wow.
I have
Yeah,
I have
long
some
conversation, damn.
I have some things to do, and trust me, this could be a much longer conversation. But if you
Do you
want
have a
to,
time when you get on here? Like you get on live?
it's generally around 7:30 p.m. Central.
7:30. Okay. I
So
might I might be able to join tomorrow.
I may need a little bit more time to gather up all the resources because trust me, I've studied this a lot more than I'm letting on right now. But like I said, you kind of joined in a little bit late, and I wasn't prepared for this exact conversation. But
Yeah,
I know where to get my information from,
yeah.
and it's gonna be from the Quran. It's gonna be from the Word of Allah. You
Hmm.
know, and but like I said, I don't want to be I don't want it to be insulting. I do want it to be cordial, and I
Yeah,
do want to
no,
have
I
a
agree.
respectful conversation.
Of course, I agree 100%. I mean, I will say one thing because I'm not the most knowledgeable guy, to be honest. Like, there's way more knowledgeable than me when it comes to Islam. I was just kind of bored, you know, so I figured why not. But I will say one thing that I noticed about I've done some debates with my friends and stuff like that before. That it's, there's one thing which is like proving each other wrong. Nobody's ever became Christian this way, and nobody's ever became Muslim this way. You know what I mean? So there's one thing I always like. I remember I told one of my friends, because we were talking about it, and it's like there's one thing which is to prove each other wrong, and there's another thing which is, let's say, if the Quran is from God, then I don't need to read the Bible. I don't need to go to church. I'll go to the mosque. And then if the Bible is truly what's from God, I don't need to go to the mosque. I don't need to read the Quran. That being who created the heavens and the earth, who created each and every single thing, what does he want from me? You know what I mean? So let's discover the truth together instead of trying to prove each other wrong. You know what I
Well,
mean? Because
I'll say amen to that. And
yeah,
you know what? Let any man be a liar, but let the truth be the truth. And for me as a
100%.
Christian, Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. He's shown that through his words, through his actions. He's given us a promise for eternal life. Um,
I do
and
confirm the same thing about Jesus, because we believe during Jesus' time he was the way. He was the way to God. There was no other way to get to God except through his messenger. And the truth and the life. You know what I mean? This is like we believe in his time you have to follow God's messenger, and we believe they all came to deliver the same message. You know what I mean? So this we have like a very profound respect and love for Jesus. Peace be upon him.
right on. Well, tell you what, my Muslim friend,
Yeah.
I will. I don't know if it's gonna be tomorrow. I got a lot of stuff that I gotta kind of take care of. Actually, I had to take care of it about an hour ago.
Yeah.
I just wanted somebody to come and defend Antifa and all the thugs that are, destroying their own cities and everything like that. But they tend to be,
Yeah.
cowards, and they don't want to do it because it's kind of hard to defend the indefensible.
The
But
thing is, yeah, I can't with that. It's like I've heard things that they make me kind of disagree, but it's like I have no knowledge. I can't debate anything. I just don't have knowledge on. You know.
right. So, it's kind of been on my mind whether I want to go after Islam, but there is a threat whenever you do go up against Islam that seems a little bit harsher than most other religions, especially Christianity. But we could get into that later.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
mean, there's a verse in the Quran. It says, وَعِبَادَ الرَّحْمَنِ الَّذِينَ يَمْشُونَ عَلَى الْأَرْضِ هَوْنًا وَإِذَا خَاطَبَهُمُ الْجَاهِلُونَ قَالُوا سَلَامًا. The servants of the Most Merciful, they walk upon the earth humbly, and when people insult them, address them improperly, they only respond with peace. There's also a hadith. This is an authentic one. The Prophet was sitting with his best friend. They started insulting his best friend, cursing his mother and everything. And he sat there just in peace. And then they insulted the Prophet, and he got up and he was mad, his best friend. And the Prophet walked away from him. And he asked, "Why did you walk away from me?" And he said, "Because when you were sitting there, not responding with any harm, only responding with peace, then the angels were by your side. And they were saying, 'No, he's on the truth. He's on the truth.' The moment that you got up, all the angels left. And I don't sit where there are angels in my presence." So there's a lot of things, I'll be honest, that social media and especially like the way that they play things on the news, they want people to be brainwashed. You know what I mean? And they want certain things against Islam. I think there's certain countries, certain states that would hate for Christians and Muslims to become closer and united. You know what I mean? So that has a huge role in it for sure. I mean, who convinced the US to do all the terrible wars, as in
it was
the
it
like
was the
the war in
Jews,
Iraq?
man.
Not the Jews. I love the Jews. You know what I mean?
No,
There's so many amazing
I'm,
Jews.
I'm just
One of
playing.
my best friends, yeah, but it was the state of Israel. That's what it was. You know what I mean?
The Zionists, yeah.
Yeah. Like, definitely.
It's interesting. Hey man, look, I appreciate the conversation, and
Yeah, me
it's
as well.
funny because it's been playing kind of on my heart whether or not I wanted to tackle this, because I know
Mhm.
it may come off controversial, and I'm not sure if I want to even deal with that. But
Yeah. I mean,
as a
honestly,
Christian,
this is something me and you could both say. We'd say, we'll both agree on this. What would Jesus do? What would Jesus do?
proclaim the
That's
truth.
the way I would look at it. So I believe the
Jesus,
same.
Jesus would proclaim the truth, and you know what? I think with that, it would be good for us to come to the truth, um, and look for the truth, and we do that through the scripture, and it would be an interesting conversation. I'd say, amen, subscribe, and I can't guarantee you it'll be tomorrow or even over the weekend, but just pop in and just kind of give me, if you can give me a reminder or something like that. I'll tell you this much. uh I'll probably be studying around tomorrow and
Mhm.
gathering up some information from you, some hadiths, some surahs, um, quotes, counter arguments, apologetics. Because I used to know a lot more. Because I was big into this years ago. Um, it's just I kind of left it
Yeah.
alone for a lot, so for quite a few years. So it's not off the top of my head where I can come to them. But there's some things I would like to ask you, and I feel free to ask Christian the same thing.
Yeah. I mean, I can't guarantee like how free I'm gonna be because I know with work I'm gonna get hella busy, but we're gonna try
Sure,
to make the time maybe in a few days. You know what I mean? However much time that you want. I mean, me, I got so much going on. I don't have too much time to like gather things. You know what I mean? But I'll try my best, gather whatever I can, and I'm firm that I'm on the truth. And I know you're firm. You're on the truth. So we'll see. Yeah, honestly, maybe the next coming days, if we could figure
yeah,
out something where we could get into it. Maybe even your friend there. I don't know if he's gone. If he could be like a moderator or something, and then do timing or 5 minutes, something like that.
sure.
We'll
Yeah,
see.
we can work it out, and I'll let you. I'll tell you what. If you ever tune in, I'll let you know whenever it's not gonna. I don't think it'll take me very long, but you can put it off as long as you want. Do whatever, whenever you're free, and God willing, we could have the discussion. God's will be done
49.
regardless.
100%.
All right.
Amen to that.
God bless you, man. Take
God
care.
bless you.
49. And yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and close it out. And yeah, I just want everybody to have a blessed evening. Take care. I just want to say God bless everybody in the name of Jesus Christ. Even my Muslim brother here, and he can accept it. He doesn't have to accept it. I appreciate him being cordial and respectful.
Yeah, of course, man. Take it easy, man. God bless you.
Take care. If you need me, okay, cool. He got himself out. When are you gonna be having a Trinity live stream? My streams can be somewhat random, sometimes I'll just have an open panel, and we toss it up. Sometimes it can be a toss up Trinity stream. It depends. The earlier that you get to my stream, the better. If you join my stream whenever I'm about 2 hours in, or like an hour and a half, 2 hours in, the chances are we're probably not going to get to it, because some topics like Trinity or Islam, all of those things, they deserve their own stream. So if you come in 2 hours or two and a half, 3 hours into a stream, and then want to have a debate on it, mentally, I'm not going to be there. I'm not going to be there mentally. And also, it's just, I'm just probably going to be exhausted. A lot of these streams I do them on my own. Sometimes I have guests and co-hosts and things like that. They can sometimes take over for me, give my brain a chance to kind of, focus or, readjust. But a lot of times I do these streams alone. So if you want to see a live stream on Trinity, you know what? I have not seen my Unitarian friend in a minute. He lives in Canada. So let's just hope we didn't say some offensive jokes that may have gotten him arrested by his Canadian uh, totalitarian regime from over there. So let us send out our prayers to Big Nick. I haven't seen him for a few days. Hopefully he comes back. I saw that I lost one subscriber. It may have been him. I'm not sure. Either that or he's out there listening to Enya or something. What up, Chef Roasting Gag? Good to see you. I need to go and check out behind the scenes Grinch, and shout out to Fantastic. How did I'll be repenting. I will be repenting tonight. I'll go to sleep watching Senor Sanchez so he can torture me and probably be making some delicious Mexican food while I sleep, and then I'm going to have to wake up at 3 in the morning. I'm going to pay one way or the other. But God bless you. God bless you. God bless Senor Sanchez. God bless Mr. Patriot. God bless Officer No Chill. God bless that dude who ain't taking care of his obligations. He's a mess. And Ursula, the Grinch. God bless them all. There's so many I can't even name them all. And especially God bless you, Chef Rosengag, and your family and your son. And congratulations on your son's accomplishments, and may he be a valuable asset to our nation and our military. Nathaniel be cutting up, man. Nathaniel be cutting up. That dude reminds me a little bit of myself at times. What can I say? God bless you. God bless you, Chef Rosengag. Guys, I got to get out of here. I got some stuff I got to do in the morning, and I got to actually do some research. This was supposed to go on for just about an hour, and we're about 2 hours over. It's all Nathaniel's fault, man. He be cutting up. God bless and take care, everybody. Love y'all.
What the? Amazing.
God, it feels good to be a Christian. Saved by the King, got a brand new mission. Grace on my back, yeah, I'm steady fishing. God, it feels good to be a Christian. Yeah. God, it feels good to walk righteous. No frightness, armor on my soul, I'm a knight in the brightness. Waging holy wars, but my weapon is kindness. Devil try to tempt, but he ain't got the likeness. From the pulpit to the park bench, grace flows. Bible in my hand, that's the code that I chose. Mercy on repeat, got my sins in repose. Prayers at the heavens, watch the blessings compose. God, it feels good to be a Christian. feels good to be a Christian. Yeah. God, it feels good to walk righteous, no frightness. Armor on my soul, I'm a knight in the brightness. Waging holy wars, but my weapon is kindness. Devil try to tempt, but he ain't got the lightness. From the pulpit to the park bench, grace flows. Bible in my hand, that's the code that I chose. Mercy on repeat, got my sins in repose. Prayers hit the heavens, watch the blessings compose. God, it feels good to be a Christian. Saved by the King, got a brand new mission. Grace on my back, yeah, I'm steady fishing. God, it feels good to be a Christian. Yeah. Hands in the air, no robbery, just worship. Heart's been clean, now my soul's got purpose. Truth in the word, no room for distortion. Gospel in my veins, it's a holy immersion. Haters throw shade, but I'm shining eternal. Spirit in my chest, that's my